Hello everyone, welcome back to Marvel Mania. I'm Captain Logan.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Sarah.
And today we are moving on now to Spider-Man 3, everybody's favorite Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man 3. And Sarah is here because she loves to torture herself. That's why she's back with us. We had a good time with Ghost Rider.
Yeah, that was
And
fun.
so Sarah was like, I don't know. It'll give me an excuse to eat a pretzel. Today's show is brought to you by pretzels. And Baker's Treat Cherry Pie. Real fruit filling from Baker's Treat Cherry Pie.
I've had those. That's not real fruit.
No, well, it's, it's fruit-ish. It's fruit-ish. Anyway, so now we're going to watch this absurdly long Spider-Man movie that everybody loves. I've talked to no one who does not love this film. And
It's like 4 hours and 80 minutes, right?
It's especially great if you're a Venom fan.
it's about like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, nobody ever thought they'd get this kind of dimension for Sandman. Anyway, he's real layered. So, you guys ready to get into it? Any preamble you want to give? Any less sarcastic preamble?
I didn't see this in theaters.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know if that's ever going to come up in the actual video.
We did, and I remember Sarah going, yeah, this is bad, but I'm enjoying this more than the other ones because it's just so bad stuff crazy.
Yeah, they just went full tilt bad, and so it wasn't like I'm torn because I like this part, but I hate this part, and so is it a good movie, is it a bad movie? No, it's just a bad movie, so I can sit back and laugh at it. I mean,
This
it's
is
bad.
In my opinion, this is definitely one of those, I don't want to say so bad it's good, but it's the weird choice bad that makes it kind of fun to at least
not like X3.
Point and laugh at. And I mean, it's got its stuff that I like visually and stuff, but I mean, the script is preposterous.
Yep.
Oh, you guys ready?
Yep.
Well, let's do it. If you want to watch it with us, get out your DVD or Blu-ray, however you want to watch it, get it to timestamp 0 past all the menus, and get ready to press play when I say now. Is that the fastest I've ever said that?
Maybe.
It might be the fastest I've ever said that. All right, here we go, everybody. Get ready to press play. Right now!
You know, if someone really wanted to, they could go back and clock how long it's taken you for all the previous ones.
They could.
And see if it actually was the fastest.
They wouldn't even have to really clock it. They just look at the timestamps.
Yeah.
Figure it out pretty quick. Do a little bit of math. Subtraction. Okay, Eric. I would like you to spend the next 3 minutes complaining about how long this intro is.
Well, let's get to it. So we're back to the regular Marvel logos.
Yeah, this is nothing but Spider-Man. I feel like I saw a Hobgoblin in there maybe.
But that could have just been always there. Like,
Yeah, it
that's
might
the
have been.
start Marvel logo.
I'm just wondering if I'm right and that was actually Spider-Man. Or that was actually Hobgoblin.
I don't know. So here's the thing about these credits. I've never watched them. I learned my lesson from the previous two. I have never sat through the credits of this movie.
Okay, one thing I really like about these credits... No, really.
It's how long they are.
It's not even the credits. It's that without having to sit through these credits, I may not have picked out the Venom theme and the score so readily, and it is wonderful.
Okay.
And every time I see this movie, it gets stuck in my head for days. I really like Danny Elfman's Venom theme. I wish that we had a Venom that was worthy of it, because it's so good. Before
You're showing
these,
your cards a little bit. You think this Venom's not worth it?
no. Before this movie, this track was exactly the same, if memory serves. Maybe it was slightly different in two. I don't think it was. I think it was exactly the same track. And we've now added this Venom theme to it, which is weird with all these shots from the previous movies because they don't have anything to do with Venom and the black suit and stuff.
We're just now finishing the first movie?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so long! Oh, I was wise to learn from the previous two films.
It is. But
That's
so
cool.
look, we're swinging around from the beginning of the...
That's cool.
I think. But one thing I think you have to give it is that at least it's different from the other openings in that the music's different.
Yeah. Well, and the music's different because we have a new... we have someone else doing the score.
Is this not Elfman?
This is not Elfman.
Because I know somebody else worked on this with him.
Elfman
Did he be
starts
part of it?
and quits.
Oh, wow.
Raimi and Elfman have a big breakup.
You
over this.
told me about that. Or maybe you didn't. Now that you say that, I remember.
Whoever the other score guy is, apparently
I looked that up again. There's so many I know from other things now.
Sam Raimi basically just kept saying to do it like this guy's score for Hellraiser. I think it was Hellraiser. And Elfman just got tired of it and was like, you know what, why don't you just bring that guy in? So Sam Raimi brought that guy in.
Wow. That means I probably don't have Danny Elfman to thank for that soundtrack I like so much.
Yeah.
And that makes me want to go look at Hellraiser and see how close it is. Did you say Hellraiser?
I believe it's Hellraiser. I might be wrong.
Wow. Don't do it, Spider-Man. Don't monologue. No.
Spider-Man,
Well,
stop monologuing. We saw the
well.
other movies.
It is so hard to watch this and not just quote that video the whole damn time.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
You cursed.
I did. I know.
You said a bad language word.
Sorry, everybody. I said.
Once again, no one hates Spider-Man in this universe except when it's needed to make Peter Parker feel bad.
Yeah,
Because
but
these movies do not understand this character.
it's different. He just beat Doc Ock, and so it's not that nobody doesn't like him. It's that the status quo is different than it was at the beginning of
Except
the
that
last
he
movie.
didn't just beat Doc Ock because these movies move in real time.
Are you sure about that?
I know 2 is. I don't know 3.
I don't know if this is.
I know 2
I don't
is.
feel like they've been together for 2 whole years. Certainly some amount of time has passed,
Yeah.
but I think they keep that somewhat ambiguous.
Yeah, I don't know. I get what we're doing here. We are reversing the beginning of Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2, everything's going wrong for him. Spider-Man 3, everything's going right for him in the beginning.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. I get it.
I'm not
hip.
saying that's great, but I think it's fine to have periods where people are more okay with Spider-Man. I mean,
It would be fine if they felt about him correctly the previous 2 films.
so
Solomon Abrams.
I just have no idea. Look, he's great. Okay, I do not know what is so bad about her performance in this play versus the other play. I don't understand that.
Well, it's a singing
that is the
role.
dictionary definition of, and she's fine.
She's fine.
So, that is a dictionary definition of contriving a conflict element, right?
Well, and that, the idea is... Because in the previous film, her picture is everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so she wasn't great in a play or maybe specifically in a musical, but she'll just get another part. I don't understand. The way they treat her is as if she's off-Broadway, if she's somebody that just kind of lucked out and got a starring role.
Yeah.
That's the way the director treats her later in the film.
Yeah, and that when she's dropped, that's it.
Yeah, she's a huge star at this
washed
point
out.
after Spider-Man 2.
And then, of course, she's not going to tell Peter Parker about it, and he's going to be all into himself and excited about how well his Spider-Man thing is going, and she's going to take it personally.
If you wanted conflict in their relationship,
Just let everybody know what happened in this movie.
the obvious thing to do, I would think, is that she is famous, and therefore the tabloids are going out after her for abandoning her husband her fiance on their wedding day.
Yeah, we could sit
That
here
should be-
and come up with 49 more interesting ways to get her to where they want to get her. But any way you slice it, I don't want her to be jealous of him just because he is
that's all
successful. You know, I mean, if he's pushing it, if he's rubbing it in her face, knowing all that, then
But he's
okay.
not.
But yeah, and I don't think I want to think he wouldn't do that. Oh, would somebody remind me of his motivations? I don't remember what he's all upset about because he only. Oh, that's right. That's what it is. Thank you. I couldn't remember. And man, I'm really glad they recapped that for me. All right, because. Okay, so would you do me a favor and explain to everybody why you hate Harry Osborn so much in these movies? Because I tried to explain it to Eric and he still didn't get it.
I don't get it.
It's been a while. Do you remember your hatred?
It's been a long time.
She used to have a lot of hatred.
Yeah. Well, mostly because he was whiny and jumped to conclusions, and I don't know.
Do you see how telling her statement was? Where he says, "You were great. You were good." She goes, "You said great." She's so self-involved.
it's not just self-involved. It's really insecure. She's really unsure of herself. And I don't fully understand why, because we didn't get that home life stuff, which is all I can derive any of that from. But yeah, she didn't suck or anything. The singing.
There's the Hobgoblin mask. It's the Green Goblin mask, but it's gold.
So the only thing I can figure is that we have to use whatever logic we can use for Peter Parker making his suit for Harry Osborn being able to tweak this one. And by tweak, I mean completely reinvent it.
It's true. So regardless of how much time passed in between films, if it wasn't 30 seconds, why now? Why did he wait until this moment to goblin up? He found the lair last movie. Why wait a week?
Well,
even if it's only been a week.
Now I want that to be a whole Power Ranger team, and we can goblin up. Second of all, he might have needed all that time to rebuild that stuff. But I don't know.
Why would you wait that long to goblin up? Like, to gas yourself? I feel like you would do that first. I'm just going to give myself superpowers just in case.
And you'd think that maybe when he was lucid, Osborn would have a note in there that's like, if anybody ever finds this, do not do that to yourself, because it turns you into a nut job that goes, "Avenge me!" So you maybe you don't want to do that.
Do you get that conviction and that passion?
What has made her so needy and so completely insecure that she has to constantly be like, "Tell me you love me"?
I don't know. There's a scene like this in
and how
James
is that
Cameron's
romantic?
Scriptment.
And they only have an hour, right?
before the web disintegrates and they fall to the ground. Yeah,
that's true.
They don't establish it in these movies, but that stuff might just be all over the place. You don't know. Okay, so this is lazy.
Yeah, it's really lazy. Well, I believe I've talked to you about my theory. I think this movie's intentionally made badly.
Yeah,
I
because
think
he did not want to do this.
He did not want to do this, and I think he intentionally makes all of this badly.
Sam Raimi we're talking about. Wait a minute. He's still got the gunk on his helmet from when Aziz ripped the thing off the front. That's hilarious. I don't know. I might get some solution and get that, some nail polish remover or something. Get that.
Okay, but honestly, I probably wouldn't.
Yeah, and he might not either. He's not real careful with detail and stuff.
So I've heard
the Sandman theme is also pretty cool.
I believe his name is Tom Hayden Christensen, Tom Hayden Church, something like that. The guy that plays Sandman.
Oh yeah. Thomas Hayden Church, I think is
Thomas Hayden Church. I have heard that he's a good actor. I've never seen him in anything other than this. All he does in this movie, it just looks like his finger is caught in a mousetrap. Like, that's the only way I can explain. Just a constant look of oh, I'm in pain right now.
Something occurred to me. Yeah. Wow, I never thought of that before, but it's like Cyclops. Once I've seen, you don't say that. So I thought of this while we were watching Spider-Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
Some of this in the writing, and of course, this is not the same writing team, but it's kind of interesting that we're trying to apply the same formula we had with Spider-Man 2, where we had a character that resonated with people, or at the very least that they liked, was sympathetic and not just out-and-out evil, like Green Goblin. Because when you compare Doc Ock to Green Goblin, Doc Ock is a human being, and Green Goblin is a hilarious cartoon character that wants to do something after he has killed his board, and I don't know what that is. He wants to rule something, whatever. This is the first time they've attempted a villain that is not in some way or another mind-controlled or
driven crazy
that they're not themselves. It's the Smallville "You're Not Yourself" episode. We've done that with both of our villains before this, and I think it's kind of telling that this doesn't work, because he does everything of his own accord,
and he's completely unsympathetic.
And
look how much pain he looks like he's in.
Because he's tortured. He's doing it for his kid. It makes it okay, right?
And what's weird is, I believe all of this is invented. I think we incorporate this into Sandman later, but I believe this is all invented. He has, like, a sick mom in the comics. Like, I remember
Well, they could have done that, and then they could have made that
a parallel with
Aunt
May.
May. Yeah.
I remember reading a Marvel team-up with the Human Torch and Spider-Man, and Sandman's whole thing is that, like, he's trying to get to his mom, and they let him go see his mom, and then he escapes. Like, they got him, and he's like, just let me see my mom, and then he goes and sees her, and then he, like, leaves out the window or something.
He makes this deal with Malbolgia to get to see his mom one more time.
Yeah.
And then he can't remember his mom.
So that's Cyan?
And then, yes, that's Cyan. And that woman on the other side?
Wanda?
That was Wanda!
For your never-described ambiguous sickness.
It's McGregor syndrome,
Yeah, sure.
clearly.
Luckily, stage 1. Stage 1 of McGregor
Not a
syndrome
bad person.
is death, by the way.
Yeah,
But that's not true.
that's not true because you made all these mistakes, man. Like,
And
see, if and I'm mentioning this just because I'm in the middle of the series again. Man, if Walter White said that, immediately nobody cares about Breaking Bad. That's the thing. Like, if he goes, I just had bad luck, or at least like it comes from a place and like you understand why that guy refuses to ever take any accountability for his actions. Like, he's a real complex character, and yeah, he does a lot of horrible things. He's a really bad person, but you get how he got there.
yeah.
And
Whereas
he will
this
keep saying, I only did this for my family. Well, no, that's an excuse. You really didn't. But it's fascinating, and I'm interested. And this guy, there's just nothing to him.
And, like, run of bad luck doesn't make you, like, become a criminal. Like, this specific kind of criminal where you're robbing places.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem to be helping. You know what I mean? Like, okay, he's got a sick daughter. Like, let's break this down. His daughter's sick. He needs a bunch of money.
Yep.
If he robs a few places and he never has enough, then, like, wouldn't you try something else? Or wouldn't you, like, plead with the police? Like, okay, I know I did these things that are against the law, but, like, I need help. And he doesn't... I don't know. He doesn't do that.
Yep.
Some of it's just we don't spend enough time with him to develop any of that.
This might be
It's
the
just
worst
an
scene in this
excuse. We
movie.
get it. Yeah.
She tells us... Okay, here's the thing. This scene is brutally realistic. This is how old people tell stories. But it's also the reason we don't want to listen to old people tell stories. It's just the most agonizing, boring thing.
And I remember it because of the water.
And he said, put it on. And I did. And they said, look at it. And I did. No, you didn't.
It's this one
If
time.
you hadn't gone to that, if you hadn't not gone to the library and let him be murdered.
By the way, it's still your fault, but it's water under the or over or wherever you want it. Whatever you want the water, it's your fault still.
Yep.
So can I tell you a story real quick? This is one day where Sarah and I got in a car.
Yeah.
We drove to an ice skating rink, and then I put a ring on her finger. The end.
Oh. That's romantic. That's touching.
That is the most romantic way I've ever told that story.
Is
But I got the point across, okay? That's the only way Eric will let me tell stories. I'm finding. It's right here. See? Mm-hmm. She thought it was
Did
the
you think it
sun.
was the sun? The blue
She thought
sun?
it. No,
It was nighttime.
She thought it was. It wasn't nighttime.
It was, yeah, it was in the evening.
No, it wasn't.
Wasn't it?
You don't remember
It was
anything.
raining.
It was overcast.
It was, no, it was,
Certainly.
you had a hard time with your windshield wipers on the way there.
I did. It was really, it was real rainy.
Yeah.
We almost died,
Yeah.
but we got engaged and married later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Also, she holds up her engagement ring. Do people usually wear their engagement ring after they get married? Don't you just wear the wedding ring unless they interlock?
Yeah, mine does.
Yeah.
And I think most people put them together.
Okay.
Like one in front of the other.
A more interesting story is when I fought this guy on a flying snowboard who kicked me really hard, and I lost the ring, and I had to go try to get it. I've never told you that story, but I lost a lot of blood that day, and you should.
Why does it do that? It's clearly a ski mask. Like, why does it have to mechanically?
Because he's
once again,
enough to
how
make
did
it a
he build
high-tech
it?
ski mask.
So what is this?
That's why you hate him, right?
Yeah.
See, but
That's one of the
I think
reasons.
it's funny, so I don't like. It doesn't like register with me as like character.
Yeah, of course, but you weren't bothered by it in 2 like she was. So you're just carrying over your hatred for this character arc. Especially because, keep in mind, you've had to wait 3 years to watch this movie, and he is still in the same place.
It's true. This whole fight.
And he's going to
sequence-
get amnesia and everything. Sorry,
This whole fight sequence is wonderful.
It is. It's great. I love it when he's on the wall and it's falling.
Yeah.
And he climbs it.
and it looks good.
This all still holds up okay. Some of the green screen's not great, but it holds up pretty
The
well.
part of the problem is,
You'd never carry a ring that loosely?
well, no. But part of the problem is that it's
that loose.
the movie's never going to have a fight this exciting again. This is the
Yeah.
pinnacle of the film as far as action.
Yep. No, you're right. Your climax is not going to be this engaging.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I like how the score it drives in the scene. It's cartoony in a good way. It's
The whole
almost like-
scene is cartoony in a good way.
Yeah.
Like, this is real comic booky action.
And I think part of the novelty of it is just getting to see all of... And I mean, this sounds weird because people always like to complain that he's got his mask off so much. But getting to see him do all this out of costume and it looks good. That's
Yeah.
hard.
I
Yeah.
think the problem with this movie is that everybody has their mask off too much.
Yeah, why does Harry Osborn not have his mask on right now?
Because he knows who he's fighting.
These are
Because
cool.
The guy who's fighting him.
I don't know what they're supposed to be physically, but I like these like energy blades he's got.
I don't mind him not having his mask here. The big problem is Venom never wearing his.
Yeah.
His face. It's not even a mask. It's just his face.
So what are the
You
decisions?
get one
that-
cool shot of it, a little bit or a lot later. 2 seconds or less, it's on screen. I've got a poster of it downstairs, and I don't like this movie very much. That still looks great.
Yeah. So what are the decisions that led to this design for the Green Goblin? Like, clearly we start with everyone made fun of our costume for the first one. We have to do something different.
It can't be that goofy Power Ranger mask the way people always describe it.
The immediate next thought is snowboarder?
Which is just about as 90s a design as you can get, and
He looks like Rocket Racer.
yeah, he does look like a rocket racer. That's a really good point. And it's not like he's a 17-year-old kid or anything.
Or he's ever had any interest in extreme sports.
Yeah,
Like, that's not a character
that's not,
trait
that's,
of...
that's not a thing in his character. Yeah. There is a world in which that is your evil Green Ranger and it works.
Yeah.
There is a world in which that's okay. Because you know what the difference is between him and Tommy, besides several $1 million?
He makes this look good.
That too.
I mean, he
Tommy's
doesn't.
into extreme sports.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
So once we get into the hospital and he's got amnesia, the movie in the theater has already lost me. And I'm thinking it can win me back if only he's faking the whole time.
And he's not.
And I'm sorry, he ought to be.
Yeah. That whole thing
It
is
makes
just
so
weird.
much more sense. Yeah.
Although the amnesia is what made me believe that he was secretly a good actor, and I was right. He is secretly a good actor.
He is a good actor.
Because he gives like a real dumb performance in the first movie. Like, he's enjoyable because he's James Franco, but like it's a real nothing performance. And the second movie, he's doing this real over the top like evil thing that he's doing here. The second he gets amnesia, he's right back in Spider-Man 1. Like, he intentionally made choices in his acting and knew how to do that again.
That's a good point. And of these three, he had a career.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he did.
He's had a real career.
I can't think of what her name is. But Mary Jane, she also has a career.
Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst. But she's much more of an indie film person now.
I mean, I figured she was still working a lot, but
She works really like art housey kinds of movies.
Okay. Maybe I should break down and watch
Melancholia.
one and see if maybe I like her better in one of those.
Yeah.
You know?
So
She might just be wrong for these kinds of films.
this is a similar kind of problem that Spider-Man 2 has. This movie cannot decide what level of reality it's set in. Because theoretically, I love how comic booky this is. But other parts of this movie are not this comic booky.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we were doing this movie, I'm down with it.
Yeah, but I mean, what are the odds that they're turning this on at night and they're not going to check it out?
Well, you're not going to test it during the day.
Why wouldn't you?
Because the government might know that you're doing it.
Oh. And
Well, that's a good point. Who are these people? Who's funding them? What is this nighttime
Have you
Santa
gotten the
experiment?
Sandman in page by page yet?
Yes.
What is his origin?
Well, I think we did. It's been a while since we read that. There wasn't a lot to it.
I can't remember what his comic book origin is.
Let's see. We've done it. We've gotten to Electro. I don't know if we've gotten to him.
Do you talk?
No, we did because there's that hilarious bit. Yeah, there's.
Where Spider-Man reenacts the fight by throwing sand around?
by throwing sand around. It's great. Yeah, that's what I remember about that issue.
It's a little bit of an ethical conundrum whether that's okay that he did that or not.
Yeah, whether it's okay to make money off those photos.
Yep. Now,
And of course, they play this real tragic, and we're supposed to feel a lot when he's trying to keep himself together and get his hand on the locket, which reminds me a little bit of that bit you like in Fantastic Four where the Thing is trying to pick up
That's
his
true,
ring.
and I like it here too.
And I like it here too, but I don't care about this character,
No.
and so it's real unfortunate.
Yeah. That being said,
But there's no extra fence over that open giant pit. There are no cameras.
no, there
showing
were
the signs.
fences before
There
to
were
keep
fences
things out.
like 100 yards from it.
Yeah, that's good enough. What could get past that fence? They couldn't get past this a fence even closer. How recently?
So that guy skipped soap opera doctor where he tells somebody they've got amnesia and jumped right to big budget movie where he tells somebody they have amnesia.
Also, usually in circumstances like this, only families allowed in. This is the only time I've ever seen a movie where people aren't being kept out of the hospital room; they're actively being encouraged to go in.
Of course, he doesn't have any family.
Well, that's true.
I mean, they'd probably let the butler guy in.
He couldn't find his way to this
He
building.
wouldn't know the difference between a glider and a gurney, but
I really like his delivery of "hit my head."
yeah. It's so. This is one of those weird instances where I love his performance, but I don't like anything about the choices
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
the script.
Yep.
He has eaten out this material. Do you think could we make the case that Franco knows what movie he's in and they don't?
That's possible. Now, if you look at the interviews around this time, no one wants to make this movie. Like,
Yeah.
in all the interviews, people are like, yeah, we're doing Spider-Man 3, because we have to. And Kirsten Dunst pitched a Spider-Man 4 in which Spider-Man dies and she has a spider baby. Because she thought that'd be beautiful. It's in a Wizard magazine interview somewhere. I read that.
Wow.
Has he not told her that Harry's
Clearly
also
not,
evil?
and that's real problematic. Everybody's keeping secrets they shouldn't be keeping.
Now, the many
And
things,
it's not like he's going to learn his lesson from that or anything.
now, the many things that we can say about this movie, negatively, Sandman looks amazing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we've ever done a supervillain since that's as ambitious, like, digitally? Is there anything else we've done that's...
There are things that remind me of this or call back to it. And this doesn't look great. The first thing that comes to mind is the Enchantress in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's not as many moving pieces. Like, that's what's so impressive about this. And I don't mean, like, this thing, like, specifically, but I can't think of any other villains after this that have such a visually stunning design created entirely digitally.
Yeah, and this is a decade old now.
Yeah, and it still looks good.
Which is wild. Yeah, in some things, in visual effects, I don't want to say hit a wall, but we haven't improved a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think in the next 3 or 4 years of the movies we're going to be doing here on Marvel Mania, we're going to find we're about to where we are.
Yeah. Yeah, Hulk looks a little bit better in Avengers than he did in Incredible Hulk, but I don't know if he looks that much better in Age of Ultron than he did in Avengers.
Which is why you can look at something like Origins and say, no, the year's not the problem.
Yeah, no.
You guys phoned that in.
Yeah. Origins is post X-Men 1. That's an issue.
Yep. And I mean, yes, clearly a visual effect, but... Yeah, I don't know if this would look all that much better now. If we didn't know.
Yeah, I really like the sequence.
Although I would make the case that you could probably get close to this with TV CG now. I think it's catching up. Like,
really?
I think. Well, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, he's in the light.
That many moving parts. Yeah, that's true. He is in the light. Yeah.
I mean, this is really visually stunning, I think.
Yeah, especially when we get close to it, we see the grains of sand.
This is a great short film.
Yeah.
This could run the beginning of a Pixar movie.
I mean, you need more of an ending to it, I think. Beyond just, I'm a bad guy now! But yeah.
Just walks away.
No, you're right, it is real Pixar-ish. I guess I take back what I said. I don't know. I was trying to think of other things to compare it to. Like, is it any better than Martian Manhunter? But I guess I'd have to say yes.
Well, yeah, because Martian Manhunter doesn't have the little details.
Yeah.
It's all about the grains.
The granules. Is that the right word?
Granules? I don't know. I like that. That's a nice little thing.
What's that?
They live in a crowded apartment and the door doesn't open. You have to lift it up. I've known people that have doors like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if that was in the second one or not.
Yes, it is.
I think it is.
Oh no, maybe not. Because the scene I just remembered is in this movie where he's like, "Oh, I'll pay you when you fix this door."
Oh,
but that's this movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've had a dime for every time my wife had to tell me that. That's a critic.
Yeah, and I'm empathizing with you by explaining how I've been through a similar situation and I'm not being beaten down by it.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's not literally about you, therefore he just did.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate you vocalizing all that so I don't have to again.
It's like, I just want to wallow in self-pity for about the next, 5 weeks or so, and then I'll be fine.
You just sit here and listen to me whine. And just know that whatever you do, I will find some reason to be angry with you.
Now that being said, there certainly is a time and place where it's like, look, I just need to get this out, let me talk. But that's not what she's doing.
That's not what she's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a big difference.
Maybe nobody ever
because
thought of
she's
that's
telling
something
him
you can
he's
ask and
supposed
tell
to
people what you want to do.
Feel or think differently about it,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to, I just need someone to listen right now. Put on your Guyan hat and just let me talk.
Mm-hmm.
Your big fat purple Guyan hat.
And this is really hard to do. And they clearly don't do it, but you can't be angry at someone for going to help, like, people in a fire.
Yeah.
You just can't. I mean, I think you could do it in such a way where you do find you can empathize with them. I'm sure it could be done, but
yeah,
they don't.
Yeah, because it feels like, again, you're just about yourself at that point.
So your architecture. Does this happen often? Do you often get like phone calls for like the building you designed is
You generally hope not.
Now, to be fair, this is real old school comic book where we just contrive
Oh no,
some
absolutely.
kind of catastrophe.
But again, the movie like jumps around on tone.
But what are the odds that this comes into the glass?
Why would you keep walking towards it?
Right next to this girl that you've been going to school with?
And why
like,
is she
why
a
don't we
model?
just make this the introduction to her? Like, why does Peter have to know her already? Can't we just introduce her here?
Well, because what they're doing makes sense except for the model bit. Because the model bit is just like Mary Jane was a
Yeah, but
model.
it's New York. That's real convenient.
Yeah, but the idea of introducing her as the smart girl in Peter's class that Mary Jane is worried that Peter has more in common with than her.
Well, that's fine.
That
But not if
makes
you do
sense.
this.
Yeah, you can't do this.
And then we kill her here. This is the death we see.
Yeah,
Right here.
nobody saw that coming.
What's important about this character is that she dies. We don't care how.
What happened to the woman that was right next to her?
She's dead.
What did she grab
She
onto?
jumped faster.
Because they were both on the ground there, like scurrying.
She bounced off of a flagpole to safety.
So, I like Topher Grace a lot, and I think he's the perfect choice for this movie for the smarmy reverse of Peter Parker.
Yeah, sure.
I don't think it's done great, and I think he would have been a better casting choice for Peter Parker in the first place. He's real great at like one-liners, and like I don't know, he could have been Spider-Man. He
Yeah.
should have been Spider-Man.
But they would have had to make that version of Spider-Man.
Yeah, yeah.
It's real hard to tell what comes first, that characterization or Tobey Maguire.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a tough thing to...
It's such a weird thing because before these movies, you'd never seen a monosyllabic Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, everything does quippy, jokey Spider-Man. Even in between these movies, the video games do that. Like, if you play Spider-Man 1, the video game, he is regular jokey Spider-Man.
Spider-Man 2 is that way, too. And it's Tobey Maguire delivering those lines, too. Did you know that Zephyr Cochran was Gwen Stacy's dad? Did you know that? I didn't know
I
that.
did not know that.
He should have been...
I see it now.
Oh, no, you really didn't know that? You really, you really didn't know that's who that was? Oh, okay. Sorry.
Nope.
He should have been Jeremiah Arkham. It's a huge missed opportunity that he was never Jeremiah Arkham. I bring this up every time James Cromwell comes up, but he should
Every
have been
time.
Jeremiah Arkham.
Doesn't matter what it is. If James Cromwell's in it, he's going to mention Jeremiah Arkham.
She should have been... How great would he be as the guy that runs Arkham? So, what about that crane?
I agree with
the
you as
haphazard
much
crane?
as I did.
They
the
should
first
power the block
35
already,
times
I'm
you
guessing.
brought that up.
But wait, there's a mad crane on the loose.
I like the Daily Bugle building.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I love Ted Raimi.
I don't think that joke is as funny as you do.
I don't know. I just like Ted Raimi.
I mean, Ted Raimi's really funny. And
it's such... Again, because this movie doesn't know what era it's in.
Yeah.
He's with Peter Parker, like, in the 60s, but the rest of the movie isn't, so it's clearly, like... It's just so lame. I really like it.
You know what? You know what my problem is with it? He came up with Dr. Octopus first.
Yeah.
He's actually better at this than he is right now, and I don't understand that. So I don't know if he's supposed to be a bad ad manager guy or a good ad manager guy that's having an off day right now. I don't know what's going on.
So, this is insane,
Yeah.
but he plays it really well. Like, I want to hate this joke.
Like, there's performances that are fun, but everything about these scenes in the Bugle feel like we made 20 Spider-Man movies more out of jokes.
Why doesn't when he presses the button it buzzes her desk?
He also would have been a really good Flash Thompson.
Yeah, I don't know if he's big enough for Flash. But he would have been a really good, like, Agent Venom Flash Thompson.
That's what I was going to say, which is weird, because he's going to be Venom, but I want him to be the other Venom.
Yeah.
What's that smell? That's me. Okay, that's funny. There's some comic timing there, that's good.
He has comedic timing, unlike Tobey Maguire.
Well, you can't have comedic timing when you don't have comedy at all. Like, oh, that's an amusing. I never noticed that before. I like Bernstein's. That's good to me. She almost died this morning, so help a buddy out. Still like that, Robbie.
Yeah, he's great. Full of stickum. I'm gonna start using
That's
that.
great, yeah. Peter's like, I can go make that for you in half an hour. Okay, I'm Spider-Man. Who took the cookie from the cookie jar? Who, me? Yes, you.
No, I think 3/4 of this movie should just happen in J. Jonah Jameson's office.
Yeah, that's all great.
Yeah.
And Topher Grace is clearly having a ball playing off of it.
I was complaining about the jokes in the earlier bit, but I like that bit a lot.
Who's that wise old man?
That's one of his better cameos.
Yeah.
I think. I dig that a lot.
I really like the one in Daredevil. Where he almost like steps off
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Almost gets hit by a bus.
11-year-old Matt Murdock.
Yeah, stops him.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
great.
that. I didn't get to see it.
And they don't usually go that subtle anymore. He's got to have a moment
Yeah.
where he's talking.
Which I think maybe starts in.
But every now and again we don't do
Fantastic
that.
Four? Is that the first one where like he gets to talk?
Yeah, we're actually supposed to pay attention to what he's saying.
I guess he's in Hulk, but he's just kind of like off screen walking with Lou Ferrigno.
I mean, in Avengers, he's just playing chess and he has like a one-liner. But
Superheroes New York?
oh yeah, that's what it was.
But you were never hurting for money. It's not like you came into. It's not like you were poor and then you like had amnesia and you're rich.
Is there a place where he's like, "Hey Peter, how did my dad die?" Like, does that happen?
No.
Like, he's not fazed by that at all. And of course okay. I guess he just assumed he died somehow.
Don't tell Harry.
Yeah, stop looking at your father's creepy portrait. He's dead. It doesn't matter now. He is mortifying. And that smile is just the creepiest thing.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining Sam Raimi going, give me more gums. More gums. Real canine.
This is insane, and I kind of can't believe that this happens in this movie. Like, this doesn't happen in a major Broadway production.
No, they would have called you. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Or that you would walk in on it like that?
Yeah. And
even off Broadway, that crap wouldn't happen.
And after opening night?
And she's supposed to be better? Well, I guess... Or is she just a...
Well, the biggest criticism is that she's not...
Is this an audition or is this a rehearsal?
I think it's a rehearsal.
Oh. Well, that's weird.
But the biggest criticism is that she doesn't project enough, and that woman doesn't seem to project any more than she did.
I could hear her. Again, I was in the back row.
Yeah.
I know that guy from things. What do I know that guy from?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't buy that after opening weekend you would can your star like that. Especially given that she's a name.
Yeah.
Her poster was everywhere last movie. Like,
we're just pretending
this
like
is
that
not her
didn't
big
happen.
break.
Yeah. She already had that.
We didn't immediately stop casting, like, Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck and things after BVS. Like, you don't do that after one bad thing.
Well,
that
sometimes that happens in movies, but I don't think it would happen when you were in the middle of a production.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, every now and again, it sort of does. Amusingly, we kind of shut down Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark when everybody hated that. And we kind of retooled it, but I mean...
Well, that's because people were getting, like, seriously injured?
Yeah.
That's a slightly different scenario. We didn't recast. Well, I think we recasted Green Goblin.
I've always wanted to see that.
Yeah, me too.
I've always been real curious about it.
Me too. Well, and from what I understand, when they retooled it, like, what you were seeing was a better version that was watchable but not great. Whereas the original version, if you saw it in those early weeks, was just a train wreck. There's a whole book about it.
Yeah.
I kind of want to read it.
We should get that.
This is a thing that we do with Eddie Brock that I don't think ever really plays. That they had one coffee and he's already decided he's going to marry her. It's supposed to parallel with Peter, but that's exactly how Peter is.
Yeah. Who do they think is identifying with and supporting her in the audience right now? You're being all jealous, and again, it's. I mean, you're so right about the tonal confliction, right? It's that they think they're making a soap opera, but they also think they're making a serious relationship drama.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
But the only way to make the former work with the way they're acting is if we're supposed to be laughing at them in every scene. And I can't say I've ever seen a live action movie
if this is if this whole movie was the tone that the action scenes are, where it's a comic book, don't think about it.
Yeah.
If that's how
then I know where I stood with it.
But then the relationship almost should just be fine. I mean, I don't know why we need any relationship drama between them anyway. They've been fighting for 3 movies.
Well, there's always
Why
drama
are they
in,
together?
like Stan Lee comics and things. But like, if you took Stan Lee right off the page, his Betty Brant is a crazy
Yes, but they'll sometimes be getting along in a scene.
That's true. There are times when they get along.
Every scene doesn't end with somebody walking away angry and I got to count it, counting Crypt Freaks. Is that?
Hey, not this one. This one wasn't written by them.
That doesn't mean that it doesn't. It's not still
this
a
one
thing
was
I
written
can be
by
counting.
Sam Raimi, Ivan Raimi, and somebody else. I blame that somebody else. Oh, it's the Purple Lilac.
Man, if only you'd gotten one good shovel smash in when his head was like the normal head.
You know all those
Maybe you
sand
could've
trucks
knocked
that
him
drive
out.
around Manhattan?
Yeah, why are they delivering
He's the most dangerous
sand?
one.
You caught me off guard with that one. You know all those sand trucks that are on the news all the time? I was talking about how dangerous they are. I'm the worst one. Oh my god, that's great. Eric, he is a god among insects. Don't let anybody tell him different.
He is. He controls their homes.
That's great. I love that line. I love that line in the theater. I love how ditzy she is when she says it. That's all on purpose, and I know I'm laughing with it. Come on, that's hilarious.
You know, I said earlier that she's like the smart girl in Peter's science class.
No, she's a total ditz.
Yeah, no, I was
She's
wrong.
not
That's
the
what she
smart
should
girl.
have been.
Yeah. But that's okay, because then we'll get to Amazing, and they'll put a Gwen Stacy on screen that I fall totally in love with.
Me too. Well, and I don't need Gwen Stacy to be smart. Like, Gwen Stacy is not a super smart character in Stan Lee. We will retcon this, or we'll just ignore.
They make her a genius to almost Mary Sue level when you get to Amazing Spider-Man, but I don't care a lot.
Well, and we do that in the comics, too. Like, there's this whole thing about like, Saint Gwen Stacy. Like, how we have just, like, elevated that character to an insane level. When you
she should be the new Watcher.
When you read that Stan Lee stuff, that's not how she is. She's just like all the other Stan Lee girls. And she mentioned like once that she's taking a science class, and therefore she's just as smart as Peter. But if you're going to bring her in,
she's so hammy. It's great.
If you're going to bring her in and put her in Peter's science class, that should be the conflict. Is that Peter's met a girl that likes the things he likes. And Mary Jane's worried about it.
Mm-hmm.
And now her lifelong ambition is going to be to work at Jurassic World.
Yep. She's kind of unrecognizable. I mean, I know the hair's different.
I thought that when somebody told me that when I saw Jurassic World, I was like, "What? That's who that? No way!" And then that's who that is. Shazam. See, because it's a callback to the first movie.
Yeah, the first movie. Yeah,
that whole thing.
Yeah, because he likes comic books.
I mean, that's the only time you get a sense that he likes comic books until she throws all his comic books away.
Why did they immediately go to Kiss? None of these people saw Spider-Man 1. They don't know that's a thing.
Yeah.
And why does he let her? Especially when he just said to Mary Jane, "Hey, I'm going to be entering right over here. Make sure your eyes are right here."
It's so that she has a reason to get angry with him. That's why. And I mean, she's totally obnoxious, but also he's now getting to.
She's in the right
level.
here, but. This scene should have happened after he's the black suit.
Yes, but she's not mad about that in isolation.
Yeah.
It's more fuel for an already stoked fire that has no business being stoked.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da!
But, this should have
I want him to fly in and go, "Out am I!"
But this should be black costume stuff, right? Like, that's what should have been happening in that scene.
That's a great point.
It should have been affecting his personality, so
He doesn't even have it yet.
Yeah.
It's still in his room. It hasn't gotten on him yet.
We said this in the last movie and kind of in the first movie. He's an irredeemable character.
You know, it's funny. I was talking about how the other two villains had to be basically on something in order to do what they do. Mm-hmm. But it's not like we get away from it in this movie. We don't do it with the villain. We do it with our protagonist.
Except he's just as awful before.
Yeah. Not just as, because he kind of murders two villains and gets away with it because he didn't actually murder them.
I'm not convinced that Peter Parker wouldn't do that.
If you pushed him far enough?
Peter Parker?
Well, especially because of what happened with Uncle Ben's killer.
And this Peter Parker's...
And we haven't even started talking about all the retcon nonsense with the...
Well, that's because it hasn't come up yet.
Yeah,
well, the only thing the black costume really
For a second, I forgot about it, and I was enjoying this movie more. Sorry, what?
I was just going to say the only thing the black costume really does to him is it makes him do the emo dance walking down the street.
Mm-hmm. Which I'll talk about. I'll talk about the confusion that I have with that scene. Because it is miscommunicating. People are communicating things poorly.
Pardon me.
I think they think this is cooler than I think it is.
It's just all these characters that are into extreme sports that we didn't realize until this movie.
So, Sandman is immediately unable to be sympathetic because he puts every single one of these person's lives at risk.
For no reason.
Yeah, I immediately can't...
That's a good point.
If he went into... Because with his powers, he could... He
just doesn't care about anybody else at all.
Yeah. With his powers, he could go into a bank after it closes, just like seep in under the door and get money.
You're not buying he's this desperate. And when you get to the end, I love that you said that, because you get to the end and he needs forgiveness from Peter Parker, but he doesn't care who gets in the way.
Yeah.
So why does he need that?
Yep.
If all these other people died, would he go to like each of their wives' houses and be like, "I need your forgiveness"?
Do you think Sam Raimi decided
real desperate and
that the theme of this movie would be forgiveness when he realized he was going to make a bad movie?
How did that happen?
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
He wasn't in triple sand.
Yeah, but there's no seam. I mean, that's the problem I have with that costume in general is that we keep shooting the mask such where you can tell there's no seam, and then you take it off, and it can't possibly be put on that way. I'm pretty sure the boots are exactly the same way. I don't think there's a seam there.
At least Batman Returns was honest. He has to tear that thing off like rubber.
Yeah, I mean, granted, he doesn't have the
eyes
eye
things
things.
are gone.
Yeah, but it's not as silly as when we do it with the Phantom. The Phantom is the best. Maybe I'll do a top 5 list of those. When somebody
The Phantom?
when somebody takes off the mask and they don't have the black eye things underneath, or whether or not they do.
Did you get 5?
I'm gonna see if I can come up with 5.
Because Kick-Ass doesn't do it. Kick-Ass has him. We watch him paint them on.
But see, that's because that's like a superhero in the real world, Eric.
Yeah.
With rocket packs.
You can buy those. Those are real.
Let's get one right now. Let's order it.
We could.
Like they do in the movie, and then get it delivered to our house.
You could. I don't know if it works as well as in the movie, but you can buy rocket packs.
Yeah.
That is a thing.
But it still makes it feel more comic book just because it's there. At this point, he should be like, holy crap, dude, you're everywhere, and I hate you every time you show up.
Yeah, but he's a nice guy here.
And also, thanks for... No, that's true. I know he's here, but he should be like, those other 2 times...
Do you remember when...
But thanks for giving me my name Spider-Man, because Human Spider was really stupid, you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
I'm so glad.
You were right on that one. Okay, so that's a cliche, like cliche is even the wrong word. That's a thing people do.
Yeah.
I will never do that.
It's stereotypical is what you're saying.
It seems real. Well, first of all, it makes Peter Parker seem uninventive. And, like, that's the best he can come up with is the thing that he's seen in movies.
Can I also... Yeah, sorry. I think you might have had more of a point.
Well, my point was more about that thing that people actually do. One... Doesn't the wine, like, corrode the metal a little? And 2, how do you know they're not going to choke? That would always be my fear, is they don't notice it and they just, like, swallow it.
Yeah, but would the champagne be already poured?
I don't know. Do they...
I think it's just...
Do they pour it and then drop the ring in?
I think it would just be in the empty glass.
Oh, yeah. They bring the glass, and then they don't pour, and then she's supposed to notice it before they pour. Oh. So they'll just stand there and wait until she finally figures out why in the world they're not pouring
and then they'll uncork the champagne at the table.
Oh, okay.
So, where Peter is right now, all self-absorbed with his Spider-Man stuff, and how... and how much everybody's loving him right now, this is not how he would propose. He would propose as Spider-Man.
Yeah. It's also not
or
how...
at the very least on a web. He might not be in costume.
Yeah.
But like he would do some like unique Spider-Man thing.
Yeah.
Or what to him was unique.
But this Peter Parker has no creativity or imagination apparently.
Well, they're consistent about that anyway.
But he does seem to be someone that was raised on like films from the 50s and 60s. Like that is all he understands about culture. So maybe it makes sense. So he's like, this is just what people do.
Yeah, that's fair.
Although he's explaining it to the guy as if it's an idea he had.
Yeah. Like it's not in 100 movies.
Yeah.
He's like, well, it was this or at a football stadium. No, you're right. You're right, though. Bruce Campbell's not an obnoxious character in this scene.
Yeah.
And I just assumed I didn't remember. And I was like, no, of course he's obnoxious, because that's what they always give him to do. Oh,
yeah.
No, he's not.
Because he plays obnoxious well.
Yeah. No, he does.
Get your hand off his shoulder.
Yeah, the problem is that Mary Jane is constantly reveling in the jealousy. In her way, she seems to almost enjoy it, and that's why you can't remotely sympathize with her.
She agrees with me. She wants everyone to hate Spider-Man, but she wants it for different reasons. She wants everyone to hate Spider-Man because...
Yeah, because she's a comic book fan and she wants it to line up with the...
Yeah, no, she wants him to be more miserable than her. What? I noticed.
See, that's probably the right time to tell you about this lab partner that I have.
Okay.
And,
she says she gave Spider-Man the
she
key
had
to
her
the city.
polished fingernails all
Nail fingernails?
all over me. Sorry, what?
She said she gave you the key to the city. I'll never forget that. That's, of everything in that situation, that is the one thing she can forget.
Yeah! But she's right about that.
Yeah,
They're like, why would you do that kiss?
Yeah.
It's our thing and no one else knows about it. And furthermore, just in a practical, logistical sense, you wouldn't want anybody to be able to take pictures of your jaw.
He's so excited to bring him this wine, and the champagne is already pulled forward.
And of course, she's also, I'm sure, angry because they're playing this song. But he didn't know what happened. So, of course, that's what he picked. Because he's trying to show interest in
That doesn't seem fun to me.
stuff.
That
Oh, yeah,
It's
it
not
is
the way-
actually in the
Like
line.
you have
It
to
should be
fish it
done.
out?
Oh.
yeah, that's dumb.
Is that how they do it? I guess we don't know.
Maybe
We're just
I
making
only
crap
know
up.
because of this movie, but
Yeah. I said it was in 100 movies. We should go find some of those.
Yeah.
And,
we should see if that's how it's always done.
she hasn't changed that in 2 years, 3 years, however long has actually been. I don't think it's supposed to be that long, but I just mean between movies.
I feel like
Real
this
time,
film mirrors 2 too much. Like, this is a scene from 2. We opened the same way we opened 2, but
Yeah.
flipped.
Yeah, it's falling into the trap of we had a really successful, critically acclaimed movie.
No one knows why.
And we just stop that. And we'll try and repeat ourselves. But they are, even if you love that movie, it's hard not to look at this and think that some of what worked in that movie was accidental.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, different writers and stuff. So
Yeah, like, I can almost understand making this movie like, well, if everyone loves Spider-Man 2, they'll love this. It's the same thing.
yeah,
It just somehow worked last time.
Yep.
People just glazed over all of the same kind of flaws. At least in the character stuff. This, obviously, is nonsense.
Well,
and
and
Spider-Man 2
remember-
didn't have this.
And remember what you were saying when we watched Spider-Man 2, that part of your frustration with that movie is just that we can't get a move on Peter Parker doing Spider-Man stuff. We have to kind of stay at origin, and we're not allowed to, like, we're still doing that.
Yeah, we're still here. Yep.
We have to reopen the case, we have to retcon things. And I don't like the black and white choice.
No.
I never thought of that until just now. Yeah, it just hasn't been long enough. You know what I mean? Like, this makes it seem
No,
like it was a
there's-
lifetime ago.
No, there's a reason we do this. It's because it's 2 perspectives. We see this, and then we later see this in color from Flint Marko's actual memory when he's telling the story.
Oh, that's right.
That it's telling you this is not what
Because
happened.
this is not what actually happened. Okay, and this is the... Forget what I said, because I forgot about that. So this is the... This is the sad, dark, messed up...
And this
version
is
of imaginary,
worse,
yeah.
but only a little bit than what actually happened.
But I forgot all about that, yeah.
Oh, this mousetrap. Just can't get it off my finger. Sir, he was caught until a couple of days ago.
I killed the wrong man! You understand? I sort of kind of half pushed the wrong man out the window! No, get your costume on and get there, stat.
And this also goes against the inherent message of Spider-Man,
Yep.
which is he's not a vengeance character. He's not about vengeance. He learns his lesson from that thing, but he wouldn't hunt down this guy. out of anger and rage, like he's gonna do.
Well, unless that's what's kind of awkward about it. Like,
I mean, this is
I don't know that I fully buy that this character has really grown that much.
Well, he didn't learn the lesson. We talked about that in the first one. He didn't learn the lesson.
If we suddenly regressed the amazing version,
yeah,
I don't buy that at all, because he starts at a revenge place and he learns his lesson from that. That's what I love about that version, is that he is a revenge character, and he learns the responsibility lesson, and that there are things he cares about more than that when he has to save someone in the middle of that, and realizes that he cares more about helping people.
Right.
This character hasn't had that.
No.
That's the one major thing that I think they improved on 100-fold in those movies.
I almost wonder if this Peter Parker helps people because it's the right thing to do, or if it makes him feel better.
Yeah.
Because I kind of think it's because it makes him feel better.
Yeah, and he and Mary Jane seem to have a lot of the same problems.
That being said, well, I mean, similarities attract. That's what they say, right? But he is consistent.
Yeah.
Everything wrong with him and Mary Jane in this movie is what's wrong with them in 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I don't understand why everyone hates this movie.
Because there's more of it here.
And
the villain plot's not good to offset.
And
that's true.
That stuff I hate about this, that's not what you hear people complain about, generally speaking.
Yeah, it's all about, well, they did too many villains and Venom wasn't good.
Yeah. They're complaining about the superficial comic book stuff.
That's true.
That also is not good.
But you'd think that
I complain about that too. But that's the thing, is that that's why I like Spider-Man 2 more. Even than 1 is like, it's got that same character, the same character problems, but the comic book stuff I think actually does work better.
Oh, we had to have Venom in this movie. I forgot.
Yeah, and just the convenience.
And it's a long time in
It's
between.
hilarious.
And when he gets rid of the costume, it's a long time before we get back to that.
When he gets rid of it?
Yeah.
I don't think it's very long before we get back to it after he gets rid of it.
No, because doesn't he go out after this and then throw it in the closet, and then we have a whole nother movie, and then he puts it back on?
I don't think so.
Oh, I thought he goes out and then throws it away real quick.
No, when he finally gets it off, Eddie Brock gets it immediately. It's comical. It's like dripping onto Brock in the bell tower.
They stole that shot from the 90s Spider-Man cartoon.
Yep.
It looked better there. Because they had a cool black costume.
Well, no, they didn't steal it from there. They stole it from the comics.
Is it in the comics?
That's in the comics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then the big misstep of not actually doing the frickin' Venom suit.
Yeah.
I don't mean to say everything's got to be like the comics. I always say that, but he looks like a chocolate bunny.
I was...
Right? He looks like a hollow chocolate bunny.
Can you have hollow chocolate Spider-Man? That would be amazing.
That should have been a thing, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was so disappointed when I first saw his costume, because the black costume is my favorite Spider-Man costume.
Me too. I never thought we should have gotten away from it.
It's not like it looks bad. Like, you could have done that in live action just like this, and it would have been fine. I'm going to ask no questions.
Yeah.
Also, I don't like that he can take the mask off like that.
Yeah.
It shouldn't separate.
No.
Or if it separates, it should, make Venom-y noises like that. Like, that piece is there, right? Like, they wouldn't take the mask. I think maybe we do in the comics, I don't remember, but I don't really... I don't care for that choice. He should have a...
I think maybe we do early on before we realize that it's Venom.
Yeah. Just doesn't seem like that's what it would do. I don't know how you can necessarily compare that to anything in nature. I mean, I don't know very much about biology.
Maybe on a microscopic level, there's
that,
things like that. I don't
that operates
know.
Like that?
There are symbiotes and symbiotic relationships, but I'm not sure how you could immediately tell just by looking at it under the microscope that that's what's going on here.
And exactly what the properties are, and that it would be hard to unbind, like, or that binding, like you say, is even what's going on.
Yeah.
He likes to bind. He likes to be bound. That's what it does.
Yeah, I'm really perplexed by why we felt the need to just take the same suit and make it black. And why we didn't think people would think that was super lame.
Yeah, it's so lame. I actually like,
I wouldn't mind some kind of tweak of the other costume. Like, again, I don't mean to be source material obsessed. It's
Spectacular does it and makes it work.
Cool.
Have you gotten to the Venom episodes of Spectacular?
I haven't.
He gets this costume, and as it takes him over more and more, the webbing goes away and it becomes the black
that
costume.
makes a lot of sense. That's a cool idea. Yeah.
Yep.
You know, I think they just used the same costume but kept it black so that everyone can more safely assume that it's still Spider-Man.
Oh, you know why it is?
Or you really think that they would think people would be stupid enough that they would know what they were looking at?
No, you know why it's like this? It's so we can have the plot point where Brock just takes an old Spider-Man picture and changes the color. Because you wouldn't buy that if it was the kind of costume.
I think you're right. You really think that choice came first?
How else could it have?
Yeah.
You start with a script.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that's not true. That's not true. You start with all kinds of things before you start with a script with these movies a lot of the time.
Yeah, well, I mean, Venom's going to be in it. And
yeah, but I mean, like, they very well... I'm just saying, that is a legitimate question. They very well could have said, for whatever reason...
This is the design.
This is the design, and then we'll put our...
Mind.
Yeah.
Or somebody was like, I don't really care. I don't know, let's just make it the same thing but black.
Well, and to your conjecture about his intentionally maybe making this not as good because he doesn't like Venom, he might have done that to tick off the studio.
That's true.
Or even Venom fans. I mean,
there's just so many things in this movie where I'm like, well, you're intentionally making bad choices so that they'll be like, actually, you know what? Don't do Venom.
I like and have a lot of respect for Sam Raimi.
Me too.
So I don't want to say that he's like, intentionally got a grudge against the fans of that character.
Oh, no,
I don't want to say that.
No, I don't think he's a grudge against fans of the character. I think he's a grudge against Avi Arad for making him put in a character he's not passionate about.
He just didn't have a story to tell with it. Because if you're gonna do Venom, he's gotta be the whole movie.
Yeah. No. If the
way
way
you gotta
should
set
have
it
done
up, and of course, we know that there was talk about splitting this into 2 movies.
Yeah, and I'm the 4 millionth person to say this, but the way you should have done it is make this movie be the black costume and end with him getting rid of it.
Of course.
That's how you do the black
And then
costume.
it makes perfect sense that you have another villain.
Yeah.
Like I said, Venom should be the whole movie. Actually, he shouldn't. He should be in your next movie.
Yeah.
You should build toward it. And then, if they had done the Spectacular thing, that would have been really cool.
That would have been really cool.
Well, like the big reveal at the end is that he's turning into something that looks like Venom.
Yeah.
And build to that. That would have been cool.
Oh no, I'm Mudman now.
No, we were talking about earlier about how all that relationship stuff, we find those characters really unsympathetic, but they're really consistent with it. I mean, it's the same problem, again, that McFarlane has with Spawn.
Yeah. Mudman is a canonical comic book character. That's what happens when Hydro Man and Sandman merge.
Mm-hmm.
They become Mudman.
Mudman, yeah.
Truly the most terrifying creation of Dennis O'Neill's career. That's not a bad line.
Well, see, I don't know why people don't think to just move to rent-free country, Eric.
Yeah.
When they're having difficulties. And they immediately make that guy a really nice, sympathetic person.
Peter has a steady job. Why isn't he paying rent? What else is he spending his money on?
And to that point, I know it's New York. Why does he have to live in an apartment like that?
Well, I imagine he doesn't make enough money to live comfortably in New York. Although, why doesn't he commute? I guess.
Or just live with his Aunt May.
I know he's free. Yeah, if it was between staying at home and living there, and especially because Aunt May still has, I would assume,
You see, he throws the costume away.
Did they ever? Oh yeah, that's
and it's like forever before he gets it back again. I feel like.
I don't. No, it's not. It's like it gets back on him in the bed. It comes out of the trunk and gets on him in bed.
Okay.
He doesn't spend hardly any time out of it.
Okay.
If memory serves.
I thought I remembered like him putting that away and be like, okay, we're done with this plot point for now. We'll get back to that later.
It's been a while since I've seen this.
Me too.
I'm pretty sure it's not like you're saying, but I guess we'll see.
Because it really feels like they had a script and then they just kept like throwing in like little Venom things, or little symbiote things. See, and then this is the scene from Spider-Man 2 where he tells Aunt May about.
Yep. Yeah, and weirdly they don't do too much of that paralleling between 1 and 2. There's the thing on the roof where he's acting like he's trying to, reel in his powers and make sure they're working.
But at least that's a similar situation.
Yeah, there's not tons of it though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It's not analogs for the sake of like tracking the formula.
You ever notice?
Hey, Sarah, I just had 1 second where I had revenge in my heart.
Well, you're going against what Uncle Ben would have wanted.
Have you ever noticed that people that seem to have pretty like okay lives without trauma in films constantly tell you how well they know about revenge and how you shouldn't go that way? Like, when has she ever had a moment in her life where she's had to think about genuine revenge on the level that Peter's talking about?
I know no one.
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to mention this a minute ago. So, we never resolved Aunt May's money woes last movie.
It's true.
In any way.
It's true.
Right?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Shouldn't they be in the exact same boat?
She moved out.
Oh, that's right.
She moved into a small
No, I knew that.
apartment. Yeah.
I apologize. And that's why he's not living with her, because there's not much space.
Yeah.
Okay, well, forget all this stuff. We're just wasting time. We got 2 hours and 19
Well,
minutes. So.
I mean, he wasn't living with her last movie either. Even
No,
when
I
she
know.
had the whole house.
I know. But I'm just saying that's the reason. That's a better reason at this point that he wouldn't be.
Why wouldn't you throw in some...
But it would solve both their money issues if they moved in together.
It's true.
Splitting the rent in a slightly larger place would be more costly.
No, I want Aunt May to live with him in that apartment. I think that would be hysterical.
How hard would it have been to throw some comic book names into the phone? Like, a couple of characters, something.
Are you the person that's always complaining about like pandering to comic book fans? And like Easter eggs aren't cool. You're like
No. My issue is Easter eggs that aren't Easter eggs. If you want to throw cool things in for me, that's fine. My issue is you're not throwing cool things in for me. You're throwing cool things in for people on the internet.
Masses.
Yeah, for the masses that make them feel smart. Oh, because they get it. If you're going to throw cool stuff in for me who knows Spider-Man, that's cool.
Because it's not going to encroach upon the movie.
Yeah,
Eric's not saying he's more important than everybody. That's not the point he's making.
No. I'm saying if you're going to do things like that, that's really cool. Like in her phone was Liz Allen. That's a real cool thing that a couple of people are going to get. Doesn't infringe on the movie. My issue is this constant
or like the X-Men thing where you have the computer with Remy LeBeau.
Yeah. And most people aren't going to catch that. My issue is that we are now building movies around these just
pretending like they're real subtle Easter eggs.
And they're not for me. They're for people that have seen all these movies, and it makes them feel special.
Which is different from a payoff.
Yeah.
I gotta give them that they made the landlord awesome.
Yeah.
I gotta give them that. But they're still here because that movie was real popular.
Yep.
Right? Like, we have to make this feel like an extension of that movie.
It's Dark Knight Rises.
If that movie had just done well enough to get a sequel and hadn't been, like, hugely critically acclaimed, and they weren't trying to recreate the same, feel and flavor of that movie, he might be in a different apartment this movie.
Yeah.
He might be living in a totally different kind of place.
Yeah. Because we do that kind of stuff in movies all the time, like we don't have a real tight continuity and things like that.
In fact, I feel... Well, it's not even a matter of tight continuity. I feel like they would have opened this movie more like they did Spider-Man 2, where everything is going wrong in Spider-Man 2, so everything has to be going right for him in this.
Well, that's how they open it.
I know, but the Peter Parker side of his life also. The only reason it's not like that is so that it looks like Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Like, I really think that this team would have put him in, like, a much nicer apartment.
Yeah. Well,
And the only reason he's not...
She's a Broadway star. Why is he still living in this...
Well, because they're not... Because they haven't put their incomes together. They're not living together. But, okay, so the biggest reason... I'm just saying, I think that's probably what they would have done. I don't know. It's more realistic, actually, that they didn't, but then that's not why they did it, and this movie has those tonal problems we talk about. Anyway, the big reason that I thought this whole movie he must be faking it is because that smile is so creepy.
Yep. No, that's just his smile.
How exactly is the Green Goblin serum working in his brain right now? It's not working the same way it did with Norman. You know, he doesn't have that other personality that's talking to him.
Yeah, why doesn't it affect his brain? Even with amnesia, he should still have that affecting his brain.
You'd think. And it didn't seem to affect him before either. Like,
unless it's
did he
supposed
seem
to
that
be
different to you?
Well, I mean, he was crazy in the last movie.
Yeah.
I was yelling. But it's possible it's supposed to be a thing like Hobgoblin.
Oh, yeah, before he even gets the serum, yeah.
Yeah, it could be, it's supposed to be a thing like Hobgoblin, where Hobgoblin figured out how to work the Goblin formula so that it didn't drive him mad, like Norman. So Hobgoblin is not a crazy person.
Yeah.
But he has the Goblin serum.
Okay, but he's not... He wouldn't know how to synthesize it to do anything?
I wouldn't think he would know how to make a hoverboard.
I don't know how he built all that. Yeah, but again, I don't know how Peter Parker built that suit, so we're already in that kind of logic. We talked over the dance
Immediately.
So, was that a thing that you found super intrusive when you first saw this movie?
The dance thing?
Yeah. Everybody hates that. The egg thing.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
But it's added drama. It's the Todd McFarlane version of drama. Like,
what do you mean?
It's just trying to create conflict. Like, there was no reason for these two scenes to exist. Her hang out with Harry, being happy with Harry, and then them kissing. That's not going to play into what happens later when Harry goes back to being evil and makes him...
Why is it happening now?
Because he's drinking. He lowers his ambitions.
Actually, that might make a certain amount of sense.
It's that room. It's not the serum, it's the room that makes you evil.
That's a haunted room.
Also, his dad was talking to him before he took the serum, so this might not even be the serum.
Yeah.
Because it never takes over.
You're right.
And he's going to be...
And he'll switch like that at the end of the movie.
At the end of the movie, yep.
Like he's not...
Old buddy, old pal!
Yeah. But you know,
You're right. The serum had to have changed somehow.
All of that stuff with Harry and Mary Jane doesn't come to anything. Because he's going to immediately turn evil and he's going to use her. Like, that's not drama. It's not a strain on their on Peter and Mary Jane's relationship.
Well, all it does to me is make her not like her, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's just a rebound guy, and it's even worse because he's got amnesia. So she's using him, and when he uses her later, well, I mean, he's a horrible person, but she,
well, and her kissing
I'm not saying she deserves it, but I don't...
him is 10 times worse than Spider-Man kissing Gwen, because...
That's my lightest word.
Now I see why you're not talking all that much, Sam.
But, I mean, that her kiss with him just, it meant something. Or, because she was having a good time with him.
Yeah, yeah.
With Spider-Man and Gwen, it was just kind of a front-of-the-crowd thing.
Yeah. And if it's a revenge thing, one, that makes her even more unlikable. But two, it's not like Peter's going to know.
Yeah, you're right. He was showboating and crowd-pleasing.
Yeah.
The problem with that was that it was upside down like that, and that it was his idea.
Yeah.
If it had been her idea...
the crowd's yelling kiss her.
Yeah.
The crowd immediately starts yelling kiss her.
Can I put you on the spot? I feel like you wouldn't take that personally.
What?
I wouldn't.
I'm talking to Sarah.
Oh.
Yeah. I wouldn't.
Like especially if it wasn't his idea, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if he's just being Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I don't know that you would take that personally.
I wouldn't think that's a big deal personally, but I don't know.
I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
But you two aren't mentally unhinged people like these two.
Yeah.
Not that you guys know. You didn't see us in the kitchen yesterday with eggs, man. We had this whole...
So yeah, if you cut everything that happened with Mary Jane out...
I told Alexa to play the twist.
If you cut everything with Mary Jane and Harry out, and just had Harry go after Mary Jane, this movie has lost nothing.
Yeah.
That's the problem with that scene. It's that it's pointless. It doesn't play into this at all.
No, you're right. I never thought of that. Maybe it's in the rewind, but I don't remember ever thinking of that. No!
He can't read her at all.
No.
Yeah, and why don't we just make that a character trait that he has to, like, work on and, evolve from? Because, like, Peter Parker in the comics is like that, too. He's terrible with women. But he knows it. Like,
I'm not great at reading people, especially women.
Yeah.
But it's not the same when you're in a relationship with someone. Like I'm not great at reading people. I can read people that I'm around all the time. Like, you get used to their tics. You figure out how to read people you're close to.
You're absolutely right, and they don't seem to know each other.
Yeah. It's like they're strangers.
Now, I'm Spider-Man!
This may as well take place right after Spider-Man 1, where they've spent all of 2 hours together.
Guys, I'm sorry. Like the strut down the sidewalk, whatever. This might be his worst moment in these movies.
Well, the strut down the sidewalk's not...
Well, I'm just
not a bad acting thing. It's a bad movie decision.
Yeah.
Well, me too. Her name's Gwen Stacy. If you'll come back for the fourth Spider-Man movie, we're going to replace you with her. I don't know if you know that. That is the reason she's in this movie.
Yeah.
And she was supposed to be the one that got kidnapped at the end of the movie.
Well, that would have at least given us some variety for girlfriend kidnapping things.
Really? No, like jab it like, oh, the papers are wrong, you are a good actress. Or something like that?
Oh yeah, that would have been good.
And I'm not there for her.
So yeah, like, and everything kind of plays the same if he was faking it the whole time, except that there has to be a reason that he's doing all this now and that he would have waited. But
yeah.
I don't know, I just feel like that could have been a lot more interesting, would have added some more tension, and there's a part of me that wants to still think, like I don't want him to have had the shift where he hears his father's voice yet until after the creepy bit with the pie, because I want to still be wondering if he is faking it when he does the super creepy bit with the pie.
It's the best scene in the movie.
It's the best scene in the movie. It's so good.
So, her face was everywhere in the last movie. Remember that her face was everywhere in the last movie.
Yeah. No, they retconned that.
She loses one gig, and she's a singing waitress in a... Also,
I feel like we've had this conversation already.
She wasn't a singing waitress, or she wasn't a singer in the previous film. She was an actress.
Yeah, now
theoretically, this would be her first role as a singer.
All they had to do was have her sing horribly, and you'd buy it more.
No, because I would think she would just go back to acting.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Just regular acting.
I'm trying to fix it. I'm trying to help the movie fix its side. I don't want to rewrite the film, but somebody needs to rewrite this film.
Yeah. And
Here it comes.
Sam Raimi has come out and apologized.
Here it comes. Oh, I have so much respect for what he said a few months ago about this. Here it comes.
It's so good.
That is the moment where you go, holy crap, that man can act.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
And he disappears. It's that guy! You see that guy behind him? It's like, hey, where'd the champion go? And Eric, I'm not making fun of that, but that is great.
No, that's legitimately great.
Oh, so good. He is mortifying. And that's the thing.
You see, we've had all this time without the costume.
Don't you want... Yeah, you're right. But I never thought of it as all that long. But I guess it has been a while. Yeah, you win. But, don't you kind of want him to be, like, the big master manipulator through this movie?
Yeah.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah, I do.
You take, like, do black costume, take Sandman out, let Harry Osborn be the villain of the film, and make us wonder if he is bad for at least 20 minutes, maybe.
Well, and you can have Sandman there as someone that Harry's also using, but he's not the big bad in the film. You do that Nolan pecking order thing where, like, Harry is the villain of this film. Sandman is a villain in this film.
Yeah. I do kind of like this fight here, too. I guess all the fights with them I like.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm with you. I don't know why he loses half his face when that didn't happen to Peter when he got that explosion right next to his head with the pumpkin bomb in the first
Well,
movie.
and I don't know why he loses half his face when Venom is incinerated. They all seem to be the same kind of bombs.
Yeah, but you don't know the properties of the symbiote that much. Like it was super weakened.
Okay, but it also explodes Eddie Brock. Eddie Brock is incinerated.
Is it more than one? It was just one pumpkin bomb.
It's just one pumpkin bomb.
Look, movie, I'm trying. Okay, I'm playing devil's advocate for you. I'm on your side, but we are losing this fight. We are.
You gotta give me something.
We're like Harry Osborn right here. We are losing this fight.
Why isn't he like webbing around this apartment? Like, given that he doesn't have web shooters, like he just has the things in his hands.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if he was like webbing around inside. We never see Spider-Man inside.
And of course, what kind of drains all the tension out of this scene is the fact that neither of these people are themselves.
Yeah. Well, we don't know about Harry.
We don't know anything about Harry.
Yo, why don't we find this room and you just stumble into it?
That's a good point. You know, though, all the action in this movie works.
Yeah.
That is the thing they perfected. Yep.
Boom, boom, boom.
You know what Roger Ebert said about this movie? And remember, he gave Spider-Man 2 4 stars. He said, and whether you agree with him on this or not, he said so you figured out the human stuff with your last movie, but you didn't lose sight of the comic book stuff, of the superhero action, and then you steered so far into that you forgot to have fun with that with this movie. And I mean, he's right. That's the problem, because they know what they're doing with the action stuff. They should go with that.
Yeah.
Because that's what they know how to do. I'm not saying you shouldn't tell a story with it.
I don't think he does anything wrong here.
What?
Do you?
What do you mean?
Peter.
You don't think he does anything wrong there?
No, I think
he throws a pumpkin bomb at the man's face, dude.
It's real reactionary.
He went there to
but it's like reflexes.
Him. Like, yeah, but he went to the apartment to
that's
attack
wrong,
him.
But the bomb in the face is not on him.
No, I disagree. I disagree and tell you were totally wrong. He had that fight from step one. There was no danger of losing that fight at any point during that. He's got the upper hand all the way through. He's toying with him at the beginning. It looks for a second at the beginning of that like Harry's winning that fight. He's not.
But I don't know, that specifically the pumpkin bomb is almost like a reflex thing. It looks like to me.
If he hadn't chucked that back at him, he would have tried to cripple him in some other way. What were you gonna say, Sam?
Well, I was just gonna say, if he were in his right mind, his reflex would have been to
go some other way,
swipe it a different way, away from both people. But his natural reflex with the black costume is to swipe it back at Harry.
Was
he reminding us that he
yes
has the black costume on?
He gets more evil when he's itchy.
Yeah.
I feel that way myself sometimes.
He didn't ask for forgiveness, he asked for a break.
it was a privilege, right? A privilege.
And I don't think he's in the wrong here either. I mean, push him up against the glass and being mean to him, but exposing that he faked the photo, I don't think is him being wrong.
Yeah. I think I'm kind of with you on that one.
Yeah, but what are his motivations for doing it?
That he wanted the staff job and Eddie Brock cheated his way to get it.
Well, okay. The problem with, of course, and you're right, but I wrestle with this sometimes. Peter Parker's not entirely honest about how he makes his money getting his pictures either.
No. You're
You know,
right.
he's doing that under the pretense. People don't think about
But
this.
he's not doctoring photos.
Might as well be. He's taking pictures of himself under the pretense that he's taking pictures of somebody else.
But he is taking pictures of Spider-Man.
You gotta
he's
be
doing what he
violating
says he's
something
doing.
there. Well, sure, but the reason that you're able to get these great pictures that nobody else can is because you are that guy. That's inherently somewhat dishonest, right?
I mean, as much as any superhero having a secret identity is.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't think it's the same.
It's
thing
not the
as
same thing
that.
as what Brock did. You're right.
Those photos are, in fact, what he
Yeah.
says they are.
Yeah. Except for that comic book where he jumps around and throws sand everywhere.
So we're gonna see, or we already saw, Betty Brant is like really into him, like, and all of these women are like making fun of him and
Yeah.
like, I
Who does this guy think he is? Yeah.
is he attractive to women or is he not?
Well, no, that's different. Because she's already attracted him, and he's finally coming on to her, which she's kind of been wanting, so...
I don't know. Like,
she's not attracted to his doing this thing. She's attracted to the confidence and his taking initiative. But
because I've always heard like a defense of this take on the black costume is that he's what Peter Parker thinks a cool person would be like. But I've never been able to reconcile that with actually getting a girl. Like the street stuff makes sense that he's what Peter Parker thinks a cool person is still a super dork.
Yeah.
Because he was clearly raised in the 50s.
Yeah, exactly.
But Betty Brant
thinks he's the jazz singer or something.
Yeah. But Betty Brant finds it, like, I don't know, it's weird to me. But like some women are...
I think you are reading 6 seconds of a montage.
Yeah. But every girl he sees in the street is like...
Yeah, but you're assuming that, once again, we're talking in circles now.
Yeah.
You're assuming that that's what she's reacting to, and I don't think it probably is.
It's just the confidence.
Yeah, it's just she wants to be with him, and she's ignoring what he looks like. It's different.
Yeah. And this
Again,
is...
I'm also reading 6 seconds of a montage, but I'm basing it on what we've had with them up to that. They flirt with each other.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and that was this movie's version of Raindrops Fall on Your Head.
yeah, right.
Not
And
as
in
successful.
about the same place, I think.
Yeah, but not as successful.
Well, especially because, I mean, the reason fans found that lame and preposterous and they just couldn't get their minds around it is because Black Costume Spider-Man is supposed to be scary.
Yeah.
And they're playing that for a joke, and people didn't like that.
Yeah. That's convenient, right? That's still in his hand. Peter couldn't keep that ring
But
on
being
in
consistent.
his hand.
That is what this Peter's version of I don't want to say evil, but darkness would be. It's so weird how consistent we are with that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
You think we take the cool bit and accidentally make him too cool.
Yeah.
Except that the guy making the movie doesn't like Venom or think he's cool.
Yeah. Now,
She thinks it's so cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, this he is in the wrong.
Yeah, and why is she going out with him? Oh, because
Because she was
Brock
already
actually
into him.
weren't dating.
Yeah, because they just had some coffee.
Yeah.
See, and she's running with it.
What's
He's
the
acting
point?
the same kind of like 50s.
Yeah, he just handed her money.
Thanks, hot legs.
She doesn't care.
She looked turned on. It looked like she was being charmed. I don't know.
That one I'm not sure about.
Okay.
Now, if I were Gwen Stacy in that situation, and this is probably just me, like this is kind of a, I don't know, this would be a rule for me. I think I wouldn't give him the option. I would insist. I'd be like, no, we're gonna go someplace else.
Yeah.
Let's not hang out, and that's not to assume on her part that he's doing what he's doing. But
I mean, at this point, I would leave.
Yeah, as a general rule, like you don't hang out with a real serious ex-girlfriend when you're dating somebody else, or be in the same place. I don't think. It's not what I would do.
Well, I mean, it's one thing if you're like, no, like we're broken up and it's cool, which I think is how he's kind of trying to play it. I don't know.
I'm telling you, that's rarely the case.
No, I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it's okay, but
that's going to be such an awkward evening, no matter how you play it.
Yeah. You know what? When I think
I won't get into
waitress,
detail, but I'm speaking somewhat from personal experience. I have made that mistake.
Mm-hmm.
I would never do that again.
When I think singing waitress,
I haven't made this mistake. I mean, I've done precisely this.
Are you sure?
You remember that? That was a wild evening. You remember that?
You guys' relationship seems to have a lot of parallels to this movie.
Yeah, it's weird. I think it's why we like this movie more than anybody else.
He can play the piano.
Well, see, symbiotes have like unlimited cosmic knowledge they've accumulated across traveling stars. Playing piano is one of them.
Yeah, you got that from a space knight.
Yeah.
That actually had 8 arms and could play several pianos at the same time. Okay, you're just catching on to what was going on. Okay.
Okay, but she's immediately more of a human being than Mary Jane has been in 3 films.
That's true. And this is a walking away angry bit I can understand.
She's not angry. I'm sorry.
She's angry with him.
Yeah. No, she's immediately a more likable and sympathetic and layered character than Mary Jane for 3 films.
I'm just saying, usually when you walk out the door without saying something to someone, the movie's playing that for cheap drum.
Anyways, when I think of singing waitress, I'm assuming we're coming to a restaurant where like waitresses sing as they bring you things. Not occasionally they stop being my waitress and get up on stage.
No, you're wrong. That's what that is.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Well, I've never been to a restaurant like that.
Maybe there's a place where a waitress comes up to just your table and sings to you, but
that's the one I want to live in.
But this is the jazz room. If you had a waitress that was also a singer, I'm sure that's out.
He holds the angry face too long. I'm with this as an accident. He like looks at her angry and then it's like, oh no, like
he's on black costume. Who cares? I mean, like at some point it just doesn't even make any sense to try to read a scene.
Yeah,
because he's under an influence.
Yeah.
So like,
you're right.
I just.
Well, and it's weird that the theme of this movie is forgiveness.
He might as well be he might as well be totally drunk. Like
no, you're right.
It doesn't matter.
You're right. And it's. I think the reason I'm trying to read these scenes is because the theme is forgiveness. He needs to have done something wrong to be forgiven for, and he's not in his right mind when he does any of these things.
Yeah.
Except for the things at the beginning of the movie that we're going to forget about by the end of the movie, where he kisses the other girl and things like that. But that's consistent with the first 2 films. But like all of this stuff where we're supposed to be like, look how bad he's been, it's not his fault.
What would have helped a lot would be if you did it. I want to say this is how it's done well in the comics. I mean, the shot is cool. Where what is his fault is that he decides he likes how this costume makes him feel, and he keeps intentionally putting it on, even when he doesn't have it. And
it's actually really different.
This movie doesn't do that.
Most what everyone thinks about for the black costume comes from the 90s cartoon.
Yeah.
In the comics, it doesn't affect his personality.
I haven't read that in so long.
Yeah, it doesn't affect his personality.
At all?
No, the big thing is that he's always tired and stressed out because it's going out and fighting crime while he's sleeping.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
It doesn't affect his personality, but it's one of those things, like, at this point that everyone remembers it that way so much because of the 90s cartoon.
So we have to keep doing it that way?
We just always write it that way.
This is my favorite thing.
Mine too!
I love this. It's so funny. He asks God to kill Peter Parker.
I think it's hysterical, and I thought it was funny in the trailer.
It should be the whole movie!
And people...
That's so funny!
And people... I've heard people complain about that scene. And they're like...
Well, here's the thing. It doesn't work if this is supposed to be a serious relationship drama.
Yeah. But it's really funny.
But if it's a soap opera, that's just the best thing.
Did we establish before this that it's weak to sound?
Not before. We just established.
It's an accident. He just bumped into
He
the
just
bell.
happened to bump into a bell. I don't know why he went to a bell tower. I don't know how they both wound up at the same place. Seriously, how did they both wind up at the same place?
I don't.
How convenient is that?
Yeah.
Seriously, that is the weirdest thing.
If I recall, that is how it happens in the comics. Is they both just happen to be there.
I think it's less contrived than that, but I don't remember. Because as we just established, I thought the comics were more like the 90s cartoon.
Well, and it's retconned in the comics. Because obviously, Eddie Brock doesn't exist when this scene happens. We later go back and say, well, and being religious is a thing with Eddie Brock.
That. Yeah.
Which
we also just now established, but then
it's because Peter told him to get religion.
Oh, is that all? I forgot about that. That's so funny. I don't understand God, so I'm gonna go tell God to kill Peter. That's what religion's for, right? Solve all my problems for me. Revenge. Now you're thinking of Mount Bolgia. You don't. Here it comes.
This is the first thing we saw of this character, and it looked so cool, and we were all excited.
Yeah. What we don't know is that we're going to keep seeing that open phase.
Yeah.
Looks great.
So cool. It looks good.
And then they're just going to ruin it.
Yep.
You are going to have one cool bit where he's crawling around and you still see the face.
Yep.
And we also saw that before the movie came out.
Yep. Even when he calls by Sandman, it goes, team up.
I wish that had been the line. No, seriously, you can't get too ridiculous for ask God to kill Peter Parker and for Pie is so good. Like, those belong in a movie together.
Yeah.
We would have all been real perplexed that this movie had moved so far past the self-seriousness of at least the relationship drama stuff in Spider-Man 2. But oh my god, we would have liked it more.
Yeah.
I would have liked it more.
Well, it's funny because
I'm moving in!
Sorry. You were talking earlier about how you wish Harry was one of the mass manipulator.
How would you change it around?
He did that stuff a bunch in the comics. Like
Harry Osborn as Green Goblin?
Yeah, the pie thing. Not exactly that scene, obviously, but like there's a.
Did that come from an issue?
No, but there's a point where he, in full Goblin costume on glider, just follows Peter Parker around. He's like, well, there's no law about this. You can't stop me. I'm just gonna follow you around. Like, he's kind of psychologically like messing with him, and that's what he's doing in that scene. That really should have been this movie.
I would have loved that if he just keeps flying around on that stupid skateboard thing, the hoverboard thing, just following him everywhere.
I'm not breaking any laws. It's the supervillain version of I'm not touching you. I know, that was the point of my story at the beginning of the movie. Why is she so tiny? Is she that tiny? Is he that tall?
She's sitting down, dude.
Oh, okay, I missed that. I was really confused for a second.
I think she's sitting down. Then you got me.
Yeah,
she's on the bed.
Okay.
I'm sorry for making fun of you. That's so funny. Now I just want tiny Aunt May. instead of being cast as hot Aunt May, they just have like super tiny Aunt May.
Yeah, Aunt May's just shorter every movie.
She's just like, she's a thimble size Aunt May. Peter Parker has to be careful; he doesn't step on her. Is that better? Is she like normal size now?
I mean, I can't tell because it's, perspective. But I think so. I mean, if I'm completely oblivious, it looks like Peter has a giant head that's the size of her body.
Oh, it looks really cool.
It does look cool.
And that's the thing is, we really don't think he's going to pull his head back. And then... And see, he even talks with the mask on.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks fine.
Yep, and then we do that.
Just keep doing it!
And it's not like
he's not a big major actor or anything.
And it's not like he knows who he is.
I'm not saying people don't know him, but like, it's not like they've got to have all this FaceTime.
Yeah, I mean, his biggest thing is that he's in that 70s show for, the majority of that show.
Yeah, but
it's not like he's a name.
I think Topher Grace would have been upset if his face was in this movie less for the sake of Venom.
No, especially because he's a Spider-Man fan.
Yeah. No, I remember listening to the commentary. He was so psyched to be in this movie.
I never listened to the commentary for this one.
He is pretty clearly from that the person that is most excited to make this movie.
Oh,
and
really?
And does not seem to even be noticing that anybody else is like, well, we're gonna make another one of these. Like, he doesn't seem to even be picking up on that.
Yeah, it was real weird, the promotion cycle for this movie, that you could just, any random interview, they're like, yeah, we're making another Spider-Man. No one was excited to make this.
It's obligatory. This is a thing we do now. It's tradition. We make one of these every 2 to 3 years.
And it's so weird because...
Sony Spider-Man.
Like...
Sony presents Sony Spider-Man.
The stuff with Sam Raimi makes sense. Like, Sam Raimi's clearly not having a good time, at least in certain aspects of this. He's being forced to make a story he doesn't really want to tell with a character he doesn't really want to use. What's everyone else's hang-up? Is it just like Sam Raimi brought, like, the room down kind of a thing?
Do they read the script and...
Is this movie already over?
The same way we do about it, was it?
So this movie's already over?
Honestly, I don't know about you guys. I feel like this has been going on for the last 4 or 5 hours.
I mean, it's long, but like, nothing brought it to this climax point. It just happened.
Yeah, it did. He walked up, he said, team up. And then...
That's pretty good. That's pretty good picture you just came up there out of nowhere.
A monster thing.
You look good there too. For some reason. Also, it does make more sense if it's Gwen Stacy because he's been obsessed with Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
He saw Peter. Yeah, it clearly should have been Gwen Stacy. I mean, if we have to kidnap a girlfriend at the end of the movie,
he probably would have already known that Peter was.
Not that guy. Not that guy's he's too delusional. They had one cup of coffee and he said he was going to marry her. He's delusional before he gets that costume. Like, it makes a lot of sense that he would have grabbed Gwen Stacy.
No, but I'm just saying that he probably knows that Peter Parker and Mary Jane had a long-term relationship. But that's who he'd go after because that's who he cares more about.
Except that he seems to be obsessed with Gwen.
Oh, and also, but also,
Peter and Gwen
he's got the symbiote. The symbiote has all Peter's memories.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it is in the comics. I don't know if that's the case in this movie.
It's got to be because he knows Peter's Spider-Man.
No, he saw Peter's Spider-Man in the church.
Yeah, he goes, Parker?
Oh, that's right. Okay, well, that's an assumption I'm making based on the comics, which is not necessarily accurate then, but... I'm just saying, what is his being obsessed with Gwen have anything to do with who he should kidnap in relation to Spider-Man?
Because he believes that Peter is dating her now, because he saw them together.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
And we make a point of him seeing them together. I mean, you're not completely wrong, but you're also a crazy person, and I'm not really sure you get to be the judge of that.
Yeah, your mind has been through the strainer, because... You had amnesia, but before that, you had
hallucinations of your father,
and then
who were telling you secrets that you couldn't possibly have known in your actual brain.
Yeah, and then before that, you took a formula that might have recreated the thing that your brain already developed on its own, or maybe did nothing. I'm not sure.
So how long has it been since he got that bomb exploded in his face? Because he looks pretty good.
He's really rich.
It's healed up real good.
Yeah. Does he have healing factor because of that serum?
Probably. He actually probably does have some healing factor.
Here comes. Yay! Good shot! Oh, you have more lines! Unfortunate for you.
Do we have to bring up the fact that he could have said this at any moment? Like, is that even... do we even need to bring that up?
Don't you feel like there's 45 other things we've said that there was no point in bringing up because we said it before?
But this is the one big one that, like, everyone talks about in this movie.
Yeah, and they're right.
No, they're right, but I'm just saying, do we have to talk about it? I don't think we do.
Well, no, let's not do that. Let's not waste any time talking about that.
How quickly his wounds healed, that's fair. I've never heard that brought up.
Hey, Batman!
Yeah, I went there too.
We
spend too much time together.
Yeah, we do. Or maybe we just have seen too many of these movies too many times.
No, there's something wrong with us that we see a spotlight and we immediately go Batman. That's not healthy.
No, it's because of the angle it was shot at. It's real 89.
So wait, is that all webbing?
It's all symbiote webbing.
But how?
He's still connected to it.
He's connected to it?
Oh, or maybe he's not. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's...
No, I think it's just like
Is he already in the construction site? Well, does that make any sense? Well, in the comics, he shoots out webbing.
Yeah, he shoots out webbing from his suit, yeah. And then Venom does also do that.
Venom does?
Yeah, Venom does. He shoots out black webbing. Now the question though
is... Yeah, he shoots it from... There's that white patch on the
that
back
white patch. But here's the question though, because you might be onto something. In the comics, I don't know if he leaves it behind. I think he just shoots out an extension of himself.
Yeah.
And swings.
I don't know. I've never paid attention.
That's what I thought. Because he's not as liquid like Carnage.
That's what they do in Maximum Carnage, the video game. Is it comes out of him, but it
and
comes
it goes
back in. I think.
Maybe you're right. I don't know. I mean, not that this movie cares.
I'm just saying that's based on that material. That's not news. It's not information. Like he has to clearly know he's coming into a trap. What else? They're gonna kill us both. Yeah. No, you just wanted me. You just wanted a girl in a taxi cab. Have we I feel like he's never ever said that.
Yeah.
I never noticed that, or if I did, I forgot about it. My spider senses did.
No, not only has he never said that, I don't think we've ever even called it a spider sense.
We've never brought it. Yeah. Maybe it's a thing. I'm gonna go back to the symbiote has all of his memories. Maybe it's a thing he's thought in his mind, and it's all internal monologue that we never had.
Yeah. Put your mask back on. Put your mask back on.
What Peter's thinking right now is that you sound a lot like my jealous girlfriend. But no.
Maybe this is
my god! Oh no, not cement blocks!
Maybe this is like in
anything but cement blocks.
Maybe this is like in
concrete masonry units.
I'm always wrong. If I say concrete, it's cement. If I say cement, it's concrete. My wife, the architect, always corrects me.
Oh look, she helped out.
He's finally
it's defying tropes. She helped.
It's shake and bake.
She's totally a strong character who's standing up for herself.
And look, we're doing the falling fight we did with Doc Ock again.
And kind of what we did at the beginning of this movie, but it's not as good as the beginning of this movie.
That's because it takes a full 18 seconds to get to the bottom.
So maybe all the black goop, maybe it's like...
I don't feel like he had that far to fall. I feel like they pulled it back up a little bit.
It was supposed to be 80 stories.
Maybe it's like...
it was just a perspective thing, though. I don't know.
Super Mario Bros. The movie. With the... what is it that's everywhere? Is it moss?
It's fungus.
Fungus, yeah. Maybe it's like a fungus.
Because it's
mushrooms, of course.
Mushrooms, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Peter should trust the fungus. What else am I gonna do up here?
I'm just letting you know that I'm aware of your predicament.
I was in this movie too.
How in the world is there another 20 minutes left in this movie?
I don't somehow.
Well, 10 minutes of that's credits.
I'm sure that will be spent on like character development and really getting into all this.
Now,
No, they tried that. It didn't
now we're
work.
talking about how great
That's just
Sandman
fighting.
looks. I wouldn't have gone for Giant Sandman. I wouldn't have done that.
But he looked good earlier when he was giant. It's because he's all rocky here.
Yeah, it really looks like...
This doesn't look as good.
No, and when all those people are standing in front of him, it looks like they're standing in front of a giant screen at a theme park ride.
But it looks good earlier.
Yeah.
When we did Giant Sandman.
I agree with you. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
that particular Giant Sandman, I didn't think it was that giant, though. It wasn't that giant. This is gianter.
It's pretty giant.
Am I wrong?
I think it's pretty
I
giant.
think it's gianter.
Is it gianter? Am I right?
He looks a lot like the Abomination in Incredible.
Oh my God! There's another. Never mind. See, it just doesn't look like it's there. Like the effect looks fine. It just doesn't look like.
Now I might be wrong.
Space,
But New York's a city.
correct.
How much space is there to build new, really big buildings?
But that's a trope we always do with New York City. There's constantly a construction site somewhere,
It's true.
and you don't know that we didn't knock a building down and put a building up.
It's true.
But
Perhaps
that might be a thing. You
is
know,
this
too.
the same building that they were
I
working
don't know
on
New York, but
with the runaway thing earlier? With the runaway crane?
This is unintentionally amusing.
Was she trying?
I just don't know if all this is supposed to be funny or not.
That has both of those have
in
to
the
be,
movie.
right?
That again, where the tone we're going for is Eddie Brock asking God to kill Spider-Man.
Those two scenes work.
Those two scenes are funny.
Yeah.
And perfectly justified being in this film.
Yeah, we keep bringing this movie up, I guess. The Incredibles could have gotten away with that. Because it knew what world it was in, it knew the tone of the universe, and was still able to have resonant, emotional character stuff.
To be fair, we are seeing more of them out than I remembered.
Yeah.
Now that I'm looking for
Yeah.
it. But it's just because in the theater I was so jarred that we kept...
Hey, Pete, that eyepiece isn't anywhere near your eye. How do you see through that thing?
How's it going, old buddy, old pal?
That's a great delivery of what you're going to do, as in, I just don't care. Like, he's not joking. He really is just like, what do you want from me?
But you blew up my face, dude.
Oh, that fire doesn't look great. I mean, that looks better, but when he pulled up, it still doesn't look great.
oh yeah, turn it into glass.
Fire and sand. Make
Now,
glass.
this bit with Jameson is great.
Every bit with Jameson is great.
Yeah, but there are a couple of things I think are kind of lame jokes. This would work in any of these movies. It's great.
That's the easy way to defend these movies as not being not very good is, yeah, but Jameson's great. Well, yeah.
No, I know, but I mean,
J.K. Simmons.
I'll even complain about a couple of Jameson bits earlier that I just don't think
The
are
buzzer.
Yeah, I don't love that. That seems like a weak joke. He plays it great. It's kind of a
And
joke.
this-
That's a good joke on the page.
Yeah,
He's my
that
point.
feels kind of like Stanley a little bit.
Sure, yeah. I'll give you $100. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
You see how we're all laughing? You see?
It's not ha-ha funny. It's not like the pie bit.
Oh my God, the pie bit. I'm glad we came back and watched this just for that scene, man. I love
Yeah.
that scene. It's so good. I want pie now. I just had. What? This was like relevant. It was. I didn't even think of it. It was relevant.
How was that pie?
So good.
That's a good question. No, go back. I want to revisit that question.
Go, buddy. We're best friends again. We flipped the light switch and we're right back where we were.
It's
in the
funny
middle of the
because
first movie.
in all the Seth Rogen movies he's in, that's totally how he talks to Seth Rogen. Like, I think that's just how he talks. Or he thinks that's funny and he knows what movie he's in. Because he's always a heightened character in those Seth Rogen movies.
Can we have that whole movie where he's just doing this?
Yeah.
Can we have just a Spider-Man Harry Osborn team-up movie? Can we
Yeah,
just
that'd
have
be great.
movie just opened with the blade that pierced his body, and then the whole rest of the movie was like, oh, sorry, Spider-Man, you want some help with this Sandman thing or this Venom thing? Hey, you're acting wildly out of character right now. Would you like me to go out on patrol for you? Be happy to do it.
Yeah, he's in a movie I want to watch.
Yeah.
Peter's still not, but he is.
It's enough to make you almost wish he was Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean,
almost.
He wouldn't be my first choice, but he'd
Yeah.
be better than Tobey Maguire, but anyone would be better than Tobey Maguire.
Well, that got said.
What, that anyone would be better for Spider-Man than Tobey Maguire? It's true. J.K. Simmons would have been a better Spider-Man than Tobey Maguire. He's funny. And he doesn't cry every 3 seconds. Which I don't think is like that's the thing people like complain about in these movies. I think that's a Tobey Maguire thing. I just think he looks like he's always about to cry. That's how he does emotional.
Again, I don't know if he's being written that way because of the casting choice or if that's why they picked him.
Yeah.
I just don't know. Dude, just put your Venom face back on.
He just doesn't want you to forget that he's Venom or that he's Eddie Brock. And how hard would it have been to just have them say "we"?
Yeah, he's never named Venom, which I don't necessarily want to complain about.
Yeah, but he could have said "we." Why isn't it us? That line's so much better if it makes us happy.
Yeah. But he's got to have the face on when he says it.
Cool shot too.
The face looks so good.
Yeah.
It never looks bad.
Yep.
10 years, it holds up great.
Oh, and he's got the spider out.
Yes.
Like the black
I
suit.
was mentioning that earlier.
And
Which I guess it's fine if that's a Venom thing over a Spider-Man thing, if that's what they want to
but
do with
I like
I guess.
how that costume looks.
Flashback.
Remember, audience? Do you remember when for no reason it was weak to sound?
Remember how we conveniently figured that out?
But doing that, it makes it seem like Peter Parker's just now figuring out it was weak to sound.
We really contrived that.
Okay, so in this moment, what's flashing through his mind and what you're seeing in his eyes is, oh, he could have killed my dad with his own weapons. It doesn't have to be my dad's killing himself.
Yeah, that's true. It doesn't actually, like, as much as I want it to be reasonable, it doesn't actually change necessarily anything. He wasn't there. He doesn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who cares if it came from the glider?
Yeah, the dude's got super strength. He could have grabbed it and threw it at him.
Yeah.
He could have gotten his hands on,
Yeah.
I want to say the remote control, however he moved
That
it.
seems even more dumb now.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, it sure is.
That seems just dumber and dumber.
Oh my God,
There's so many levels of dumb.
That's right, it's layered.
I like that shot. Where the mouth is open, he's screaming, and the mouth is screaming. I like that shot. It's a cool shot.
He just yanked a dude out of Venom.
Yeah, and this is usually what the symbiotes look like.
Yeah.
Doesn't look bad.
Whoever's doing the special effects like Venom.
Yeah.
Man, it's just so depressing. That all looks really good. Something that shouldn't work. Why did he jump?
Alright, so he's right next to it, like Harry.
Why does it blow up that? Like, it has a much larger explosion.
And like, symbiotes are weak to fire, so like, I'll give them that it gets rid of the symbiote. It eviscerates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eddie Brock.
Eddie Brock.
Yeah, why would that? Yeah, you see, I remember in the theater thinking, wait, when did an interdimensional portal come into this? Because that's what it looks like, right? It's like,
Yep.
it's like spontaneous human combustion or something.
Goes to a pumpkin dimension.
Imagine you don't like pumpkins, or you like pumpkins a lot.
This is Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. In this town we go home, everyone dancing to pumpkins.
Oh.
That makes it okay for me to break the law.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. But for some reason, he wanted his car that he'd worked hard to get without stealing.
And I was like, but I have a daughter. And she said...
And why would you ever try to reason with an angry person with a gun in your face?
Okay, so this is all...
This isn't noble. This is
all what's really happening,
crazy.
right?
Yeah, it's still black and white.
Black and white.
You're right, I'm wrong. I thought that they did this in...
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't actually tell us anything.
Nope, didn't tell us anything, you're right. It's just because it's a memory. I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I also still think that's his fault.
That's just a taste thing. I don't think I would have made it. I mean, maybe the idea is supposed to be that for Peter Parker, it does feel like ancient history, and it's all rushing back to him. Maybe that's supposed to be the idea. I mean, it's maybe a stupid complaint. It's just it came to my brain and I said it. Okay.
It's still his fault, right? Like guns don't just go off. You have to squeeze. I don't buy that. He was like, huh? Like this isn't connected.
Well, if it was already cocked, I guess.
You still have to pull the trigger.
Yeah, but some of them are.
Did you see how contrite Harry Osborn's death was? Did you see that?
Well, it's really important that we make guns that don't just go off. Like you can drop a gun that won't shoot, despite what movies tell us. Like, I don't know. I still feel like it's kind of his fault.
Next time we'll get us a gun and on camera drop it and see what happens.
Well, no, just distract me. Just see
do
if
you
it
think we should do that in the
happens.
basement? What do you think?
Well, but we can't point it right at the screen because that's not okay with the television sensors.
Well, we don't have to worry about that. I'm a little more concerned about my camera.
This is so bad.
But Eric, it's getting me right in the feels.
Is it? Is it getting you right in the feels? I think your feels are broken.
Oh.
You have bad feels.
Work feels. Ow.
So did we resolve the whole thing with his daughter? Did you get the money?
No, it's a real tragic ending. She's dead. She died during that scene.
Also, not sure why he cares about Spider-Man. He just wants to get money. Why would he team up with Venom? You say you're going to attack Spider-Man.
Yep.
Spider-Man won't be able to stop me from getting money to save my daughter. Well, thanks for telling me your plan.
Yeah,
but,
your motivation had nothing. Would not have led you to do that.
This movie's real bad.
Da-na-na-na-na!
Doing X2?
No, I'm doing the Venom theme. Da-na-na-na-na.
It's really similar to X2.
No, it's not.
It's really similar to X2.
No, it's not X2. Da-na-na-na-na! Da-na-na-na-na! It's different.
Okay.
You just don't get music.
I don't get music, but I'm just saying.
This is
Sounds really similar to.
Yeah, but what you just did was trying to make it sound more like it because that's a minor key.
Okay.
One's in a minor key and one's in a major key. They don't sound the same. Well, I think. One's got more minor notes in it.
He's so happy to be his best friend.
I'm really glad that we had this time.
Everyone cries in this movie. We're going to cut to a dog and the dog's going to be crying.
Everybody and his dog is crying. And
I'm real sad because I loved him more than I love you, but I guess I'm stuck with you now.
We'll never get to make eggs together again.
Ooh, that would have been a pretty last shot. Regardless of anything else, that would have been a really pretty last shot. Funeral, yeah.
We'll make sure and put that on the board later.
Oh, that should have been the ending of your movie. Oh, that was a mistake. I mean, this whole movie's a mistake, but...
It certainly shouldn't end the way it ends.
I blame myself. We all blame you. Why's Gwen Stacy and James Cromwell here? They didn't know Harry.
They were in this movie, and we have to remind the audience that they were in this movie.
Hey, there's Flash Thompson. That's a nice bit of continuity.
Oh. And there's a person we've never seen before, and there's a person. And
Well, they're just here for corporate reasons.
Oh.
They're just keeping up appearances.
See, this is like
What's happening to us?
It's all bookending, see, because we ended the first movie a funeral.
Remember how
and
he's
then,
running?
Oh wait, but
Oscorp?
we're not actually going to end it at a funeral because we have to have this stupid scene.
Remember how he was running Oscorp in the last movie? And that kind of blew up in his face because of the whole Doc Ock thing?
But then literally, the
But
guy's face blown
how
up.
come there's no repercussions of that in this movie? Why isn't the board trying to make him out?
Out am I? And then he's like, oh wait, I have a board.
It's kind of a major thing in the first two movies.
That's really
Here he's
good
not running the
board
company at
making.
all.
No, and then he has amnesia and he's all like, oh look, I'm not broke. You're like, you've never been broke. You know what I want really badly?
You sing real praise. How I should put you in a
We have
show.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is, I want somebody to stand right in the front and go, "Boo! You suck, Mary Jane!
I can't hear you when I'm in the front row! You don't have
I'm
to
way back
project.
here! I'm only 20 feet away! Sing louder! Boo!
Hey, Peter, this is supposed to be romantic and everything, but do you remember what you did to me last time we were here?
Could have been worse. I could have blown up your face.
And I don't think she knows about the symbiote because nobody talks in this movie.
No.
She doesn't know about the
Tell each other,
symbiote.
It's like, oh well. But see, this is the thing we like to do a lot in things like this, where we go, well, I was in a taxi and you saved me, and there was a bad guy fight, and so everything's. That's the thing is, we've had the resolution, so everything has been resolved.
They look about as excited to like be with each other as like kids at like Cotillion.
But of course, they make this real ambiguous
Cry,
as to whether
Peter.
or not they
Cry.
actually stay together. We know you can do it on cue.
Well,
Yeah.
they look as excited to be with each other now as they have at any other point in this movie.
I don't know, she could smile in the first movie. Like, I'll give her that. She used to be able to smile and look like she was enjoying being there.
That was high school student Mary Jane.
Yeah.
Post high school. It's weird. It's like she gets more brutish and no fun after she moves out of the house with the horrible father or stepfather or whatever he was supposed to be.
Yeah. So, before this movie comes out, I'm going to a comic book store. It's when I first actually start buying comics monthly. And the comic store guy, who pops in and out of my life a couple of times, like he opens up another comic store and he's working for another comic store that I go to. Like just in my town, he shows up in comic stores a lot. And boy, I could tell stories about that guy. But I'm going to tell this story about that guy.
I just want to say I told you about proposing my wife in 3 sentences.
Anyways, when's this movie? I'm probably like 15, 16.
Mm-hmm.
And I say something about Spider-Man 3, and like I'm like, I read that Venom was in it. He goes, no, Venom's not in it. And he has this picture on the counter of Thomas Hayden Church in the Sandman outfit. He goes, see, we have a picture of Thomas Hayden Church Sandman. That's how we know Venom's not in this movie. I was like, okay. Venom was totally in this movie. That guy was wrong. Screw that guy. He didn't have to be mean to me. I was 15.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say that he just refused to acknowledge that Venom was in this movie because he was like a big Venom fan.
No. In the lead up, like he was like it was like I was dumb for being like I heard Venom was going to be in that movie.
I told you the story about the guy who swore up and down to me that in the 8th season of Smallville they were getting rid of Clark Kent and replacing him with Bruce Wayne, right?
I think you have
And he
told me
just
that.
swore up, and I was like, "There's no way that's."
See, these are the things where like I want
He
to.
also ran a comic shop.
Interesting. Where like I want to record these moments and then play them back for these people later.
Yes, I do.
And
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
look
yes,
how-
me too. That was not the way. I've been watching these movies too much, where like things I'm trying to say don't like follow. So Sarah loves Venom.
I do.
Mm.
How disappointed were you when you first saw this? Or were you just
Um,
excited because you got a Venom face?
Well, when we saw this in the theater, I liked the Venom parts because that was about the only part I could grab onto. I was disappointed about a lot of what they did with it, but I mean, as bad as the rest of the movie was, that was the highlight of the movie.
No, the
And also,
movie
you were
is-
a
Venom
big,
face.
but you were a big fan of 2, so I don't know how much you were even expecting from this movie.
Not much.
And you're not a Spider-Man fan in the first place.
No.
See, Sarah's a massive Venom fan and does not like Spider-Man as a character.
Yeah.
But do you not like Spider-Man's character because of these movies? Are these the
No.
majority of your interaction with
It
Spider-Man?
was before
No,
that.
it was before that.
Oh, okay.
I can't stand Aunt May.
Well, no one can.
I don't like Mary Jane very much. My favorite Spider-Man story is Maximum Carnage.
Right.
Which is not a good story, but it's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
But you don't...
And Spawn's in it.
Yeah. It's not actually Spawn, but you know what we're talking about, right? What is it? It's not Night Watcher. What is it? Is it Night Watch?
Maybe.
Is that who it is?
Night Watch, Night Beat, Night Stalker, Night something.
No, it's not Night Stalker. I think it might be Night. I forget. And I feel like he's coming back or came back or something.
Does he still look like
Forget.
Spawn?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
I'll have to go and check that again.
Yeah.
He looks
But
exactly
there's
like
like
Spawn.
55 characters in that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Cloak and Dagger in that.
yeah. That's my introduction to Cloak and Dagger. And one of them gets killed off. Oh no, she comes back, or
But,
he comes. I forget
yeah,
which
I
one
don't like
it is.
most
But
of the
never
Spider-Man
mind.
villains.
They don't get killed off.
I don't.
Really?
I just don't. Yeah, they're not very exciting, especially the animal-themed ones. I like Kraven the Hunter though.
Because he hunts animals? And you don't like animals?
But you're not a big like Marvel person in general.
I'm not in general.
Sarah
I
kind of
like-
goes more for the iconic superheroes. She's more of
Yeah.
a Golden Age kind of fan.
Mm.
Yeah, the ones that have no home life and who are just fighting supervillains.
Yeah, you like your black and white comics.
So it
Yeah.
said there additional music cues
Not like no
from Spider-Man
color.
1 and 2 by Danny Elfman,
Yeah.
which makes it seem like Danny Elfman didn't work on this movie.
Yeah.
But he is credited. I think he starts working on this and then he gets replaced.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true, but of course, you know, he wrote the theme. So the thing is, there's some music that they're just pulling from the other movies. So any way you slice it, even if he didn't work on this movie at all, it wouldn't just say theme by. You'd still have music that you had to credit him for.
Yeah.
Because there's too many themes that interweave.
What if there was a post-grad scene that none of us knew about?
There's not.
But what if there was?
Da-da-da-da-da!
I had that with X3.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a post-grad scene for that movie for years. That was a fun story to tell in the X-Men 3 commentary.
I feel like you did.
Oh, okay.
I think that came up.
Okay.
Well, anyway, we got through that. So,
We did.
Everybody, thanks so much for
We
watching.
made it.
Sure appreciate it. I'm doing this again. What's tomorrow?
I think it's Fantastic Four 2.
Is it? I think that is the next one.
Yeah, I think it's
Rise
next
of
one.
Silver Surfer. Yeah.
And then I think we're into Iron Man, right?
I believe so. I can't think of anything else that we would have yet. Or is there another X-Men movie? Is Origins in there? No, that's later.
No, Origins is in Marvel's skip year.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think
So,
you're
yeah,
right.
I think
Well, if we're right, then Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer tomorrow, and in the meantime, we'll see you then. I'm Captain Logan.
I was Eric.
And I'm Sarah.
See you, folks.